Got it. We're good, thank you. Email says goodbye. There's 3 parts I added, I resent out, and Leo made a copy. So one of the items was the community ed report. Pam got that in Friday afternoon, so I put out there that is now on there. I kept that highlighted yellow. That's on page 2 under 7G. Under 7G. And then in there under 9C on page 3, added policy 2H just as a reference for you guys. So it's not a big deal, but it's a reference. And then on page 4, under 10B, B as in boy, I put those links in from Teamworks. I put 1 and 2 because they had 2 items they had sent for your reference to look at. Just added mostly for the reference on that, but the report is the complete new thing to the agenda.
Okay. All right, so we have an agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I do have one question on my action items for elementary principal. I don't have access to any of the links.
Okay, I had that same problem today and I did get access. Did you push request access?
I did not.
Okay, just going forward, if you push that, then I think it was Laura that she got an alert and then can grant access. So just if you click on it and then it says you don't have access, if you just click that request.
I can go make them live right now.
And that's something on our end too, like.
They have to remember to click that button on there,
Yeah, I had the same.
We usually got told, so we have to learn now to
Yeah.
Be independent.
be independent.
And it may take a little bit, Toby, for them to grant it, but.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I had on the agenda.
Okay. Anything else?
I added a few things to my staff handbook. I did have on there a professional development evaluation policy. It was not on there, so I added that. And then at the end of it, the notice to employees, there's a disclaimer that needs to be put in there. I guess so I added that to the end of it as well. So.
Okay.
Mike over here had something for you too.
Yeah, I didn't see in the agenda the parent-student mobile user device agreement form. Can we get that in the agenda?
Do you have that?
Yes. Let me pull it up here. Needs to be approved to go out to for first aid forms. Let's see.
Mike, would you like us to add that under your report
Sure.
as an action item?
Yep.
Okay.
And I will share it. Mike, can I share it with you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Do you mind saying again what the title of that is?
Let me pull it up. I'll give you
Okay.
the exact verbiage
All
here.
right.
It's a long one.
And I added it on you're on electronic. I just put an action item highlighted in yellow for you guys so you can see that.
Okay, that is forms. Parental forms.
You can get that.
1967. It is the Hinckley-Finlayson Public Schools Parent, Student, Technology, and Mobile Device User Agreement.
Yes.
That's a long name.
Short story, yeah. And I'll share that with you, okay, Mike?
And you put in your report, that'd be fantastic.
Okay.
Then they have direct access to it.
Yep.
Any other additions or corrections? If not, I am looking for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
All right, there's a motion by Angela. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by Angela and a second by Janelle. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Next up is open forum. Rules for open forum. 3 minutes per speaker. Open forum shall not take more than a total of 15 minutes. No complaints about individual staff members, about students, or about other persons are permitted. All presenters will conduct their business in a manner that meets community standards for decorum. The board will not take action on items presented in an open forum. Mike, did anyone sign up?
Nobody.
Would anyone like to speak? Okay, Then we will move on to the consent agenda. Does anyone need anything pulled from the consent agenda and placed later in the agenda for further discussion? Mr. McNulty, did you add anything to the consent agenda
No.
since Friday?
Okay, everything is the same.
Alright, then I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move that.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Alright, there was a motion by Leo and a second by Dave. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And then, bills. The next item is the bills. If you have questions on the bills, please state the page number and the bill number. Do we have any questions on the bills? If not, I'm looking for a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
There's a motion by Janelle and a second by Leo. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And we will move on to reports. First up is the superintendent's report. Go ahead, Mr. McNulty.
Yep, as soon as I get something from Mike, so just give me about 10 seconds.
Sure.
And work. Of course. Give me a second here while we put this here. All right, so just quickly, you can see the meeting, so I wasn't going to get too far in that unless you had some questions, which I can take at the end, including just one of the board committee meetings where Janelle and I were over at Scred there for a retreat here back on July 28th for, I'd say, about 5 hours of the day. That went well overall. So if she has anything to add to that, I guess she will do that if she wants to on her time. I believe we had to put board reports in there, committee reports, correct? Get you some numbers for current enrollment. I got those, like Doris, I just had to get a hold of the high school office and Joe's team to send that on down there so I could actually give you that information for you to look at. But that's all information. If you have questions, you can bring to me, and then if I can't give you the answer, we'll find out that answer for you. But overall, it's still been a pretty much a week of a lot of people making a lot of connections with a lot of different people, gathering a lot of information from different experts in our field, including we had our district administrative team, which you see 4 or 5 of the members out there, and a few others starting to put together like our schedules, kind of get an idea of what my thoughts are, what their thoughts are, and things how we're going to kind of attack this season and the year coming. We are still switching over into our SMART program. I didn't add that there, but I thought about it after with Bridget and Julie as they're working that one, and that's still, we've actually brought CISO on, which has experts in all these different areas to help us do the conversion over from Skyward to SMART. So that's been ongoing for basically, well, you guys been doing that for a couple months, but they pretty much started with us today, wasn't it?
Today
Yeah, today was the first official day they got them. So as I said in the last meeting, you just got to give us some time to make sure. So you may see stuff like some of the bills might not be quite as much as we're trying to get the systems, but they will all get in there properly as we make that conversion over. So, and as we're a short one, we're just 3 of, we're kind of scrambling to take care of some other stuff that we'll have a new person hopefully soon. So otherwise, training this week, just to let you know, we're going up, I think I see Joe, Bonnie, myself, who else is going there? Guys, can you?
Maggie, Lee, and John Horbach.
Yeah, thank you. I did not know Maggie, so I have not met her. We're heading over to Sartell on Wednesday and Thursday for problems in practice.
Problem of practice.
Yeah, there you go. As they get to meet a bunch of other supers that already got a hold of me and asked me if I'm coming. Said, yeah, I don't know who's coming there too, but. So otherwise it's going well. Today the head's probably spinning because there's 5 million things going and our office got too hot again, but otherwise it's moving forward, moving great. I think what'll happen is I get to later in the meeting and then some stuff kind of starts finalizing. I'll have some better information. I'll be able to get all my updates for you because I'll have some more answers or knowledge of what actually is happening. So thank you for your patience on that. Any questions to do with any of the meetings or anything's coming up on there, please throw my way in.
Do we have any questions for Mr. McNulty regarding his report? No? All right, then we will move on to a German trip report from Lisa Padina.
All right, thank you guys. I'm trying to think. Is this okay if I stand right here? Can you guys see me? Okay.
Wherever you want.
All right. I didn't type anything up. It's just informal. Just to talk about the trip. And first of all, just thank you all, the school board, superintendent, principals for allowing me to come here and talk. I love to talk. And so just give you an update of how the German trip went. We did a trip to northern Germany this time. We've never done that before. So we're really excited to have that experience. We traveled with Maura. We always travel with Maura. And there were 20 kids and 6 adults. We left on June 10th and we got back on the 26th. I have my t-shirt that I got from Berlin with the little Umbelmann. Can't see it. I had to obviously wear that tonight. So we always start out with our exchange in Ludwigsburg because you are aware that we have the exchange with the students that come to our school, right? So that is a very vital part of what we do is they are here every other year in the fall, and then that following summer, we are there, okay? So it was really a beautiful exchange that we had in Ludwigsburg. I really felt like the connection with the kids this time was just even stronger than it had been in the past. Owen Johnson probably was the reason for that. That kid, I swear. He will be running for governor at some point. But that's neither here nor there. It was a great time. Weather was really good. And then we started with the whole northern thing, which was brand new for us. So we left Stuttgart, and then we headed up to Bremen, right, which is north, okay, and on the the North Sea area, that part of Germany. This is the area of Germany where if you have ancestry from Northern Europe, you probably left from Bremen or Bremerhaven to make your journey here to the U.S. So it was really neat for the kids to be there. We visited Auswanderer museum, and the kids got to experience what it was like back then to take the trip over. And most of these people were poor and they were in the steerage and just it was really awful for them. But we got to kind of see what that was like. And then from there we went further north to a city called Cuxhaven, and we did a Wattwanderung, which is like the North Sea tides go out, and then you are like the ocean floor, and you can walk all over it. It's really cool. The tides that go out and come back in are the most extreme in this part of Germany, or this part of the world, actually. They said that there's nowhere in the world that the tides go out and come back in as extremely as they do in the North Sea there. So the weather was top-notch. Beautiful sunny day. We got to roll up our pants and go out there barefoot, and it was really cool. And what was so cool is that you look out in the distance and there's big ginormous ships, and you're on the sand, and you know that the tide's going to come back in and be up to here at some point. But anyways, so that was new for us. That was good. We went to Hamburg, right, which is one of the largest harbors in the whole entire world again. Ships. Big, huge cargo ships. You couldn't believe, some of the biggest in the whole entire world were there, partly because of what was happening in, the Strait of Hormuz. There's, extra ships there because things are happening in the world. But that, we got to see them, and that was cool. We went to a theater production of Back to the Future, all in German. So that was another thing. The lights, the production, the music, everything. It was so cool. And it's a storyline that the kids know. So even though it was all in German, they were following along. We were having fun. They had a DeLorean there. We were taking pictures. It was great. Then we went to Kiel. which is, it's a city in the northern part of Germany. It's Kiel. One thing we discovered that was so different, and like you could probably attest to this as well, you've been in Germany, the northern Germany is so different than southern Germany. Southern Germany really caters to tourists, right? All sorts of Americans everywhere in Munich and, Salzburg and, feeling that whole vibe. It's completely different in northern Germany. There's not as many Americans up there. Hardly any. And so like everyone was curious, like, why would you guys be here? What's the point and stuff. So it was really cool on both ends. We really were immersed because it wasn't so touristy as it is in southern Germany. We did a ropes course, as we ought to, because that's always fun. We went to Lübeck, which is, again, these are all northern cities. Lübeck is a city that didn't completely get destroyed after World War II, so there's still a lot of, you can see a lot of the old architecture there because it's still standing. Like in Kiel, a lot of Kiel was destroyed, a lot of Hamburg was destroyed, a lot of Bremen was destroyed, and so you can kind of tell that, but Lübeck didn't really get it didn't get so bombed, and so Lübeck was really cool. And then from there we went into what was the former East Germany, and so that was a really neat experience. Even though Germany's been reunited for years and years and years, there still is that kind of East German, West German vibe. You can still kind of see remnants of it a little bit. We were on the island of Rügen, which is the largest island in Germany. Here we are on the Baltic Sea, right? So we were North Sea, and then we went over to the Baltic Sea area. Rügen is a beautiful, beautiful island in northern Germany. And again, it's one of those things that, if you're from Germany, you know about Rügen, but Americans aren't like, oh, let's go to Germany and go visit Rügen, They're like, let's go to Germany and visit Munich. So again, this was really cool. The youth hostel we stayed at is called Prora. I didn't know this. I just learned this when I went. It is the longest continuous building in the entire world. There's no building longer than this building called Prora on this little island of Rügen. And it was built during World War II because Hitler was like, we're going to build this big, ginormous complex, and then everyone's going to come vacation on the island of Rügen, and it's going to be amazing. And then, the war happened. And then this big building is there, right? And then it completely disappeared off of the map during when it was East Germany. I was like, what happened to Prora? And then Germany was reunited again, and then people were like, oh my gosh, this is still here. They tried to destroy it, but couldn't. It was built so heartily. They were like, well, we can't destroy this thing, so let's make it into a youth hostel and hotels. And so, you go there, and the thing is 2 miles long. I mean, it's insanely long. And you're like, this little section is our youth hostel. And then they're construction on either side of it. And you're just like, what's happening here? It's really crazy. We went there, the Baltic Sea, you see it right out of your window. It was amazing. So of course we all threw our swimsuits on and big beeline and swam the whole afternoon. It was so cool. It was so cool. And it was a little cold, but we're from Minnesota, so who cares? We just enjoyed it. The lady who was working there, she said she's been working there for almost 2 years. This is the first group of Americans that she has encountered, right? So this opportunity to do this northern trip was something that was really, really special because it just was so different. And then obviously we ended in Berlin, right? We were there for 3 nights. During the heat wave, hotter than Hades, good Lord, no AC. We were sweating bullets. We were riding our bikes. We were walking around all day, drinking copious amounts of water, going back to the hotel, and then still dying of heat. But you know what? The kids were troopers. One group of girls who were in a room with there were 6 of them sharing a room. They bought 3 oscillating fans the very first night. They just went to a hardware store. They bought fans and brought them into their room because there was no circulation. But again, that's how it is. You just go with it. So, anyways, that was the trip, and we came back home. And it was really cool. They loved it. They loved making the connections with their families in Ludwigsburg. They got to know kids from Mora, right? And this is the 9th time I've done this trip. Would have been my 10th, but obviously COVID, right? The first time I traveled was in 2008, okay? This trip is important because it's really important for students to experience life as it's really happening. Like, it's so easy. Like, oh, I'm just gonna look up, like, I can look up a video and I can see this, or I can, go on social media. But like, for these kids from Hinckley and Mora in this small area to be able to like go, and like that we provide that in this small school is huge. It's huge that we do this. These kids are going way out of their comfort zone, right? Especially in Berlin, the biggest city, the capital city. It's like, like going to New York, and, because it's just so big and massive, and just Berlin is next level. And these kids got to see it. They got to see the Berlin Wall. They really got it. They really understood, like, you hear about the Berlin Wall, but like they got to like be there and really experience it. That's why world languages are so important. We have German and Spanish here. This is great. Like, this is part of the reason why we as teachers sacrifice nearly a whole month when we're not in school, like our actual time off, to take kids to do this kind of stuff. Nothing can replace that human experience like that. That is important. And so I just want to conclude by saying thank you. And then, like, I do need to reach out to the Lions Club personally too, because like on every single trip, the Lions Club has supported us. Like, Lions Club is huge. They always come in and help us out on this trip. And then this whole next year, I'm going to be getting things ready for when the kids from Ludwigsburg come here, right? So I'm either planning for the trip, or I'm planning for kids to come here and find host families. So there will be stress next, like when I'm getting to the end of the school year next year and I'm walking around pulling out my hair, it's because I'm trying to find families for kids who are coming from Germany. So, just be aware of that and don't be alarmed if you're like, what's going on with Frau? She's just trying to find host families for when the kids come. And I did invite kids who went on the trip to come, but I'm like, are they going to come during the summer? Probably not. But anyways, if you guys have any questions, I'm open to answer any of them. But thank you.
Question here?
Yeah.
First, thank you. Your energy is it would have been great for the kids to be with that
Yeah.
energy.
Well, no one
I
knows.
can attest to that. I've had Frau as a German teacher for 2 years, and she's been nothing but amazing, and a speech coach too. I can say that from experience. Frau is truly one of a kind.
Yeah,
And if you could send me a few pictures that I could share with the board sometime, and like one of my updates on a weekday, since you have my email, Lisa,
Yeah.
that would be fantastic. Maybe 3, 4, 5, just one, especially one of the kids, or if they want to be, or a couple of places. So
Yeah, I actually sent
There's a ton on
something
Facebook.
there was someone on Facebook,
okay.
and then I sent something for the Jaguar track. I think it's in the Jaguar track. And then I also sent something to the newspaper, although I haven't looked at the
Perfect, thank you.
newspaper.
Awesome.
I know, I'm really sorry. I don't know if it's in this week's newspaper. Is it? I don't know. Has anyone
look at it yet.
Yeah. Anyways, I will definitely
Thank you very
send you
much.
something. The one in front of the Berlin Wall is amazing. That's a really good one of us. Okay. Any other questions? No, sorry for taking so long.
Can I ask why you decided to switch and go north this year?
Because Frau Stenberg, the Mora teacher, we have talked about it for years. We have talked about it, like, oh, we should do a northern trip. And then we always back out. We're like, oh, we're so used to like Switzerland and Austria, and they have the mountains, and we don't have mountains in Minnesota, and you can't beat the Alps. And finally, we just said, no, let's just do it. Because we don't have an ocean, right? And we've never visited Berlin on any of our trips, and like that's the capital, and so you ought to. And so that's why we just were like, let's just do it.
So they probably got more immersed in the German culture being up there versus.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
100.
thank you for taking the time and actually changing it, going out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. It was interesting for all of us. A lot more public transportation than normal. Like, We had a kid that forgot to get off the train. He ended up in Hamburg, and we were supposed to get off in Bremen, but we found him. It was all good. It was all good. I know people in Hamburg, so I just had to make a few phone calls, like, and it was like literally, he was waving. We're like, what are you doing? You're still on the train. But like, these kids don't understand, you know, like when the bus stops, that's when you get off for the train. We're just like, bro. Yeah, it wasn't a Hinckley kid, it was more kids. So I'm like, it wasn't one of mine.
There's so many Hinckley kids versus Mora kids.
We had 8 and Mora had 12.
Big group.
Like 8 is a pretty decent, that's about, what, 8, between 8 and 12. But, yeah. So there you go. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. That was amazing to hear, and thank you for dedicating your time to do that this summer.
Yeah, and now we just need to get kids signing up. Anyways, okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Lattimore, you get to follow that up with your high school.
We'll put this together. Jeez. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to see everybody again. So again, it's August, so we have a bunch of handbooks to approve. I did do the proposed changes as a separate sheet. So as we look at this student handbook, unexcused absence, we're going to look at that as if you're unexcused from a class, you get 0 for that credit. Instead of like wandering around, not being where you're supposed to be, it's unexcused, it's a 0 for that time. Try to streamline the discipline matrix where it is more streamlined, like I put this together and used some AI to kind of put it together, and we had all those different categories, 30 some odd different categories. We got her down to 10. What we do with this then is we look at the impact that it has and the consequences or the opportunities for restorative pieces to it. So that's what we're looking at for this year. So that's the behavior and consequences matrix. Down below, like I said, I think we had 30 some odd things. It's down to 10. A lot of the consequences are the same, but we're trying to do some more restorative pieces with this as well. So that's where those are. If you look through those. We have changes to the wording for days off. So at the high school, we've had personal days or sick days or this or that. And then we have parents calling and go, well, how many do I have of this left? How many have of this left? On and on. So it's just, we just want to do like you get, instead of 2 personal days, 3 for seniors, 5 vacation days, just do 10 vacation days, and then you're done with it, just to kind of help streamline for the confusion that seems to come with that. Just some clarification on the senior lounge. Seniors with study halls will not be able to flex. It will be required to be in their school during the study halls, and then going to the senior lounge when they go to their study hall and get permission. I'll go through, and then there's just something from the State High School League regarding the violations. They've changed their violations, so I just updated that in our handbook for students. The big thing, if you scroll down there, what we are doing district-wide is changing our system of alerts. Prior we had code blues, code reds, a lot of gray areas in those 2 situations which could be used. This is the standard response protocol. It's from I Love You Guys. It's based off of Columbine. It came from that group, I believe that was called. Sandy Hook. So it's just different levels of response based on what takes place. So we've been working on this over the summer, and actually last spring, Bonnie, Mandy, and myself have been kind of going through some of this stuff. Bonnie and Mandy were actually able to go to the conference last week, 2 weeks ago, to go through this. It's been something that a lot of schools around the area have been going to. I know all of Chisago County's schools use this. Pine City uses it. I believe Mora uses it. It's just a really good way to respond to incidents that need to. So you can see we're going to have 5 different areas: the hold, secure, lockdown, evacuate, shelter. The nice thing about this is it gives very common language, prompts where you need to be, how you need to be there, and also it helps connect parents and community to what's going on. So, and I think that's kind of a big thing, as we saw, was it last spring? A neighboring to the south district had a code yellow, and we all kind of looked at each other and goes, what's a code yellow, right? So this just kind of helps streamline everything, so we know what the terminology is and what we're going to be doing in those events. So we will be implementing this. Teachers will be getting their training on this during our Welcome Back Week, and then they will we will start working with our students with this as well. So I'm really excited about implementing this and really getting some, like it says, a standard to responses down. I think it'd be huge for all of our schools. So that's what we'll be working on here, of course with your approval. So I put that literature in there for you so you can take a look at it. Staff handbook, a couple changes there where the just language and times, potential fee changes for lunches, that you'll be voting on later in this one, I think. And also the new one with I just put the policy, like I said, the policy 403 for student or teacher goals or staff goals and what that looks like. And again, the sub handbook was just language, times, fees changes, stuff like that. So that's kind of what this first one looks like. I will stop there and ask if there's any questions.
So Joe and I, we met last week as a dad team, and I'm familiar with this. When you look at I love you guys. We were in year 1 last year at Rockford, so you got to make sure it does take time. I mean, we were just getting through. It was like a learning year. You practice it, and then the counties work with you close. But universal signs and symbols and the languages, it worked really well with our staff after they see it enough time. So, I mean, this will be year 2. I'm not there, obviously, to see how it goes, but Mike has been in touch with Jeff Keenan, who lives in safety, and I can guarantee it was a good year for the first year. So, my blessing for when these guys said that. Yep, I said, I know what you're talking about because I'm familiar with those colors, especially in the language. So, I think it's that part of me, I think is a good move based on my experience of before. So, thanks, Joe and Bonnie and the rest of the crew that was there for that. So. Just wanted to make sure you knew that.
Joe, I have a question on the vacation days now, including like the personal days.
Yep.
So for personal days, do they need that 3 days advance notice as well?
Not normally. I mean, it probably was in practice, but it'd just be like you get a call, say, I need to take a personal day today. A parent would call in type deal. So.
Okay, yeah, because I think it used to be like 24 hours. Yeah. So.
But then there was a lot of bartering going on, like, what do I have for this, or what do I got for this? And it's just like, we just need to this is what you get. Yeah. We're not gonna separate if it's this or that. Obviously, you're gonna have your sick time. If you're sick, right? But we just need to this is what we're gonna do. And just, you're gonna be gone, you're not sick, okay, it's a vacation day. If you're not, if you use them all up, then that's an unexcused absence unless you get doctor's note or something like that.
Okay, so for the parent, it's still the same. Call in, say, hey.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, at the high school, we still do need parents.
To say, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have questions for Joe regarding handbooks?
I have a question in regards to transportation on buses, and I don't know how can be answered here. Now that we are with a service, how does that affect all of the stuff we have in place in the policy? Because it says all district vehicles, well, they're not our vehicles anymore.
Yeah, it's page 17 of the staff handbook. Because I had the same question.
It's a student handbook.
Oh, yeah,
that's what I'm looking at.
Okay, there's also one in the staff handbook.
I guess I don't know how the transportation part works now that we are with 4.0.
Well, we still have 2 vehicles.
Right, but they're not gonna be used by students. I guess I'm just wondering, is there any, do we need to check with 4.0 on our transportation parts of our handbooks before we approve them?
Joe, I meet with 4.0, I think it's tomorrow afternoon. So if you guys could pinpoint where you're at in that, I'll write it down and.
Can we approve these contingent on 4.0 being okay with them?
I think we could approve it and then just come back and I can give you the changes next month,
Yeah.
if there is any.
We did have that conversation previously too with them, just to see what that looks like.
Right.
And Mike from 4.0 said that they will merge to what we need. So if there is like a student issue, they would follow our policies on what it is. And then if it was a bigger, like, destroyed the bus, then that's when they would jump in and we'd look at like payment stuff like that. But as far as like following our policies or, calling in if a kid is sick and needing to notify the bus drivers, it's the same as how we've always done it.
I'm just wondering if we should mention them in
That,
I guess that's
4.0.
Yeah, instead of it being just like, since
I'll
you're meeting
allude
with
to
them,
it
you
if
can
you
just
can give me that
clarify what.
details.
Maybe changing
I'll share
district
that with
owned
them
into
tomorrow.
Yeah.
like.
So in the staff handbook, it's page 17,
Page
because
17?
that it's the school-owned bus
Yeah.
policy is what it says on page 17.
Okay,
Oh.
And, yeah, and
It's just
then,
school-owned buses, yeah.
And what
Yeah.
the requirements are for field trips. It
and
says-
then,
yeah, they'll
What
follow
page
everything
is this
we do
one?
there.
Yeah.
Which page are you on, just so I can?
I am on Roman numeral 9.
Okay, this is you're on the
15.
student handbook.
page
I'm
Page
on the
15?
of the student handbook,
Thank you.
yes.
I will make sure I'm just ensure, because I obviously was after that, so I will talk, but I know working with 4.0 and 2 other districts, they just pretty much take everything you do and go down and if we have issues or
Yeah.
questions.
Having worked in a 4.0 district before,
Yeah,
we set the policy and the rules, and if they don't follow it, then we still give it out, even though they have it, it's like, okay, if you do something on the bus, Bonnie and I are gonna make that call, like, okay, you're off the bus for 5 days, like in consultation with 4.0.
Right. I'm just wondering if they need to be
Yeah.
listed.
And that's kind of the same thing with elementary too, because I had that question with elementary handbooks. One other thing with the staff handbook, is the contact person correct for teacher absences?
Yes. Then this one, another one. You guys, I'm just coming back to it, so. Let's see, staff handbook, I thought I got Jennifer. For absences. Can you tell me where that was?
I did just have it. It was Amy.
Oh, okay. I can just switch that to Jennifer.
Yeah, so it's on page 1 of the staff handbook.
Thank you.
Yep, and then, I know I brought this up last year, so I'm just gonna mention it again. With the philosophy of the grading, especially for students, they're given 100%, that they'll still be given a passing grade. And then it does say in here that there's not an established school district grading schedule, and then it kind of lays out kind of what that schedule is. So I do have some concern about that, especially when I see how many students are on honor roll, and then I look at MCA scores and results, that those are not coinciding with their grades and then what their academic level is at standards, which raises a concern for me.
Can I interject for just a second? Because I don't think, work completion
Mm-hmm.
could be one thing, but I think and Joe and I have talked about this too, it's the depth of knowledge. Are we just teaching everything at surface level versus digging into that content, which is what you're gonna see on the MCAs?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's maybe not how much work you're completing, or are we diving deep enough into the content we're teaching? And I think that's something we've talked about for PLCs, even how we question the kid, instead of giving them yes/no answers, tell me what you know about this, Bridget, letting them do the thinking and the telling versus us and they answering yes or no to that, you know?
And we started that conversation last year, we just didn't finish it about what grading would look like
Yep, and I remember that, so.
with staff. We started that, but
Yeah, because when I brought this up last year, you had said that you were discussing it, and then I didn't hear any
Right.
follow through with that, so that's part of it too. Especially when I do see that there are some struggles.
And just to give you a thing from the administrative when we met too, this was a discussion that they kind of brought me up to speed on, and I did tell them this is something, you know, I understand it first, but that's something further we're gonna try to work on within our goals when we work on our evaluations, helping them do their job better as instructional leaders, so.
Yeah.
That is something we've already started addressing, we'll have to get some time as I learn what they're actually looking at there.
And I will tell you, like, just me personally, I mean, I was brought in with really the intent to curb behaviors. I mean, that's what it was, right? So the first 2 years, and that's what I've been working on. Moving forward, and I told people this, and the staff will know this year it's gonna be the adults. I'm gonna be working with the adults a lot more this year, because we've got good people in place to help with student and parent interactions for support. So my goal is going to be working with the adults in the building this coming school year. So,
Thank you.
I do have some questions regarding the consequence and behavior matrix. Just take, for example, just general disruption in a classroom. That's number one.
Yep.
So you've got level A, B, and C regarding someone who's just generally disruptive in the classroom. At what point as an administrator would a child go from level A to level B in terms of number of, or maybe it's not just number of, but severity of?
I think it's like both number and severity, right? Really what we want to do is we want teachers like have that conversation using some of those tools that we've been given about, you know, the gentle guided interventions, the preventative reminders, what we're doing in the classroom. Maybe it's coming outside and saying, part of that low impact is, Toby, come here, let's go talk in the hall, right? What's going on? There's some things going on. What can we do to make it better, right? We have that conversation. You go back in, you blow the class up, right? That's, that goes from low to medium, and then we go to the resource room for that type stuff. So it's really about, have we worked with the student as a teacher? Have we worked with the student to try and build that relationship, rapport? And if it's not working that day, then we go somewhere else. So that's really my thinking about that.
And let's just say just something really mild. It's nothing serious, but it disrupts the class.
Yep.
Teacher has to stop in the mid-sentence, and it disrupts the other kids from learning or listening to what the teacher's trying to say. But let's say it's the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time, for something just minor. At what point does it jump from level A to level B?
I don't want to put a number on it, but it would be, that's a repetitive type occurrence that we would be like, okay, we've been to the resource room, that's not working, or the reflection room, sorry, that's not working. Now we got to have a meeting with parent, kid, what's going on, how do we make this better, how do we make this work to move forward, so.
Is there like a ballpark number? Or there's like, I mean, are we talking 10, 100, 2?
Well, I don't have a ballpark number. Like, okay. For me, when I was in, I try to keep everything in class, right? So if somebody was getting one of my kids, they knew it was a big deal, type. And that's what we try to work with the kid. The kid's just not receptive. We move to the next level, and we'll understand it when we see the documentation of what's going on, especially with the reflection room, and then we can kind of move from that. Move forward, move from that position going forward. But yeah, it's just, some people work really well together and some people don't. And so and sometimes, you know, and in a small school, you know, that might be the only person that teaches that class. So there's ways that we have to like figure out how we're gonna make this work.
Because my concern is that, you know, parents choose to send their kids where they will get the best education, and they like to look at how are these schools doing with their test scores. Moore's got the best test scores amongst our neighboring school districts. They have the best enrollment numbers. I see a correlation there, and I feel like if we have a problem controlling our kids, it's gonna cause a problem with test scores, which leads to enrollment problems. And parents might wanna just pull their kids just because their kids, it's kind of like, it's a disruptive environment. They wanna go somewhere else where it's not disruptive. That's my concern with this behavior and consequence matrix, is I feel it should be the number of offenses as well as the severity of the offense. And I think by omitting the number of offenses, I have a concern with that. Because I don't know if you would jump from A to B, a student from A to B, if it's the second one or the 100th one. And if it's the 100th one, I'm not happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's the second one, I'm happy with that.
And again, everything can't be black and white, right? We just can't assign a number to something and say this is what it is. I mean, in education, there's so much gray. We're dealing with adolescents, right? There's a lot of give and take. What's going on at home? What's happening here? What is the overall thing going on? And it might just be a conversation that gets us back on track. And if it's happening every day, then we bring it back in and we have that conversation about how we're going to make this better. And that's again, it could be a meeting with. There could be some consequence. It could be a parent meeting with the teacher, admin, parent, student, stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm just saying, just putting a number on stuff just really, there's so many things, there's so many variables. We're gonna do our best as teachers and as administration to make sure that we're keeping that least disruptive as possible. But we also wanna try and do some restorative pieces here too. Everything shouldn't just be punitive. We've gotta be able to teach and guide and instruct and hopefully get the best out of each student.
And then the other concern too regarding that is, Jimmy might get level B for a minor infraction for general disruption, and he goes to B after the second one. But Johnny, he might not get a level B until the 5th time or the 10th time or the 100th time. And then now you've got parents who are saying, well, you're not treating our children fairly because this other student didn't get the same punishment as my kid, and I feel you're not treating our kids fairly. And then the kids are or the students might say, why did I go to level B? Because this other student didn't go to level B until the 10th time. This is only my second offense. Why am I getting hit so hard? So they don't even know what the expectation is of the student or the parents or the school board. That's my concern.
Well, it's new. We're gonna try it. I mean, we'll see how it goes, and if there's correction need to be made. We've went through something that had 30 some odd different variables, right? And I'm just trying to streamline it to make sure, and then trying to put a restorative piece into what we already had, right? I think I don't know. I understand your concerns. I just think it's something new that we should try, because we've had the old one for many, many years.
And then I also wish we had something in this behavior and consequence matrix in the toolbox of, helping kids behave. And I'm just disappointed we don't have the tool called detention. And I feel that would be a nice tool to have in the toolbox. And I feel we go from lunch detention to new direction, pull them out of the school, their normal school day, put them in some other facility or day structure. I just feel you go from something really light like lunch detention to hammer. And detention would be maybe something in the middle, a little more mild.
Well, new direction is housed in our base, and that causes some issues though too, because it is their home base, but that's what we have as a tool that we use, and we're gonna use it more efficiently this year as well, so. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think some of Toby's concerns, I think that might also be, because teachers might feel the same way if they don't have some expectations around that. Because everybody's different. People are people handle things differently, people perceive things differently, we're all different. So, but it still might be helpful even for staff, for the teachers, to have some guidelines about where some of the steps, like with some of the referrals or how that.
And we do have that. We do have a matrix or a flow chart that they do have that they can follow. Like if this happens,
we didn't see.
Yeah.
Correct.
And then attest to Joe's part when he talked about he's gonna try to focus on the adults more this year for that part. That's part that you're gonna see the connection when he has a chance to focus working with him, all that stuff.
Part of the coaching that goes with that
Yeah.
too, so.
And that's our goal, is try to give them more time on that instructional / other stuff time, yeah.
I think it's a fair conversation to have because like we do hear feedback from students sometimes of like, why do you go PSEO or, you know, why do you do these things? And we have heard they leave because of disruptions in class or they feel like they're not getting like the time that they need. Exit interviews, this last bout that we got from teachers, a lot of it did like reference behaviors and like discipline and those kinds of things. So I think it's a very fair conversation to have. So I'm excited to see what this new matrix will do in the next year to like monitor, like, you know, and hopefully we see positive changes where students feel like, well, hey, it's not as disruptive in the class, and then staff also feels like maybe this is really gonna work. So I think it's a good conversation to have, but I think we, do need to focus on cutting down those distractions for not only our students, but our teachers as well. So I'm excited to hear feedback as the year goes on how that matrix is working, but valid concerns for sure.
Question for you, Joe. Does, student does a misbehavior in class, they go out in the hall. Does the teacher identify exactly what they did wrong and exactly what they should do right?
So, those conversations do go on. I don't know if they happen all the time in the hallway, but usually if it's a disruption that needs to go to the reflection room, that teacher will let the person, the adult in the reflection room know, hey, I'm sending Leo up. Leo was being disrespectful, not following directions, didn't have his head down the whole time. And then when they get up there, then it's like, okay, why is your head down, Leo? What's going on? What are some good expectations that we should have? And again, these are all things that we are working on building. Like we're on the ground floor of trying to build some of these restorative pieces. And that's where we're trying to get that. Then part of it is getting back into class and is to have that conversation with the teacher saying, hey, I know my head was down. It's not a great way to do it. You know, please accept my apology.
They know what they did wrong. They
Yes.
know what they're supposed to do right. Now the expectations are there.
Right.
It won't happen the second time. And if it does,
Well,
the hammer falls.
Literally, yes, that should happen.
Yeah. I mean, that's a theory, I know.
Yep.
I've got a question. Lunch detention, that's considered restorative?
It's consequence.
It's a consequence. Could just after-school detention be considered a consequence, and could that be part of the toolbox?
It could. I'm not a big fan of it, and we've had this conversation before. Part of it is transportation. We don't have it anymore. Part of it is staffing. And we do, like I said, we do have new directions in our building that we have that we can use for that. So.
Any other questions on handbooks? If not, Joe, you can move on to your workshop agenda.
And then at the end, we'll just have to vote on it, so,
Oh, do we wanna
unless you want to vote on
take
those
action now
now.
or wait? It's up to you, Joe, what do you want?
I'll hammer through so Noah can talk here, so.
Okay,
The workshop agenda, I will be sharing it out tomorrow or Wednesday with staff. They'll be getting that out, so just kind of a sneak peek, and the staff will be seeing this as well. What's going on during our Welcome Back Week. We've got really orientation and open house on Wednesday, the 26th is the big one. We have new staff coming back the 19th and 20th. And then we get going on the 24th. The highlighted one on there is just we're still waiting on, those are mine. I still have to make sure that we have that set up for that time. So we can hear back on some of that. So that's the schedule for that. Hiring update. We're just have one open position, which is the PCTP teacher. I am working with somebody, so hopefully to get somebody in there for that position. Our transitions program, our 18 to 22-year-old program. Just some goals. Again, we're going to be using data to drive decision-making, classroom observation to help guide and coach learning environments. We had a 6% decrease in behavior data, shooting for 10% for this next school year. And then, as Mr. McNulty said, we've got problem of practice over in Sartell, the 12th and the 13th, orientation. Again, I kind of laid out that standard response protocol, what we'll be doing. We are going to be having that on, where was that now? We're gonna be doing that on the 24th, so board members, if you wanna stop by the FAC to kind of see what that looks like, that's from 9 to 11 in the auditorium. So feel free to stop by, see what's going on with that. And we've got our new school, student school board members. Davany, not here, but we do have Noah, so Noah will be one of our student school board members for the 26-27 school year, so put a face to a name for you guys, so.
Well, I guess I'll introduce myself. I'm Noah Hickle. I'm a senior in high school now. I've been going to Hinckley-Finlayson since preschool, so for, what is that, at least 13 years? So that's quite a number of years. I'm involved in a few different things. Currently, I'm involved in the one-act play, theater, speech, Minnesota Honor Society, golf. I used to run cross-country and track. I even played basketball for a year. So I've done a plethora of things within the school. I've also organized our talent show for the last couple of years, and the Frau's kind of helped me with that, and she's been kind of also the person that's done that. It's great to be going to this school, I think. I plan to inform all of you of the happenings that we have going on in our school. And I wish to inform the board of what's going on, just so we can make policies and decisions that best benefit our students, as I'm representing not only my class, but our entire student body. So, as I was briefed before I was given this role, I'll be told to take any issues directly with administration beforehand. However, if, like, for example, I think the school lunches are bad, I'll tell Mr. Lattimore. But I'm gonna bring any issues that are not being resolved to the board, I feel, in a respectful and adequate manner. And I look forward to informing everyone of the happenings of the 26-27 school year. hard to say that. I remember being a second grader and thinking, man, I graduated in 2027, that's a long ways away. And now it's gonna be that year. It's hard to believe, it really is. But I look forward to being involved with all of you and keeping you well updated. So it's been an honor to be able to fill this role.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So I know you went to Germany, I take it, by the way you responded?
I did not go to Germany.
Oh, okay, you were just testing your
I did-
classroom stuff. The way you responded, I thought you did, so I was gonna ask what was your favorite part, but thank you.
It would have been Berlin. And let's just, yeah, right.
Okay, we're good then, thank you.
And I told him, like, when they would bring stuff last year, it was always like, well, have you talked to Mr. Lattimore about any of this stuff? So that was the one that I gave him, like, okay, make sure you talk with me about stuff.
Yeah, I just have a question, just because I'm not sure. So if Noah doesn't feel like it's getting addressed by you, would that next step then be to go to the superintendent before it goes to the board?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just know that,
Okay.
like, go to Mr. McNulty
For
first,
sure.
and then, like, he'll talk about it with you, and then try to, like, help resolve that, and then if not, then you could bring it
For
to the
sure.
board. We would definitely want to hear about it if it got to that.
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd be too much. I'm only gonna be in the school 1 hour of the day. I'm only taking band here at Hinckley-Finlayson.
I know how to pick them.
But your opinion is very valuable, so thank you, and
Yeah.
we're excited to have you
Yeah,
join
for
us
sure.
this year.
It'll be a great resource for our students, so.
So thank you for being
Yeah.
willing to do it.
It's my pleasure.
That's all I got.
All right, any questions for Mr. Lattimore before we take action on this handbook?
Just a minor on the top of 17 and the middle of 17 on the student handbook, you just need to change the superintendent, the section 504 coordinator.
You don't wanna be there, Angela?
I don't think Brian Masterson wants to be.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, you do, I found out Command F, you know, will get you the fine, but I just didn't use it for all of the names, I guess, so thank you for following. That's why we bring them to the board.
Alright, so Mr. Lattimore is looking for approval on the 2026 student handbook, the 2026 staff handbook, and the 2026 substitute handbook. I'm looking for a motion to accept those.
Do we need to have any caveat in there for about the 4.0? Like, what the verbiage should be?
If they come with something different, I know that I've worked with them, that they will follow our policies. If it goes to something, we have to work it out on the process side, not on the policy side. And if it has to be a change, then we'll bring it back to the board.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, they may wanna say, take out district owned and just school bus, when you ride the school bus in general.
Yeah.
your
So you
expectation.
could make a motion saying approved pending any,
4.0 feedback?
yep.
Okay, that's what I'll do. But, yeah, do I have to restate it all?
Yes.
Oh. Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to approve the student.
You're making the motion.
I'm making the motion. Okay. To approve the student handbook, staff handbook, and substitute handbooks for the 2026-2027 school year pending 4.0 feedback.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I second the motion.
Alright, there is a motion by Janelle and a second by Jamie. Any further discussion?
I do have concerns about the behavior matrix.
Okay.
And I would be happy to approve it if we could tweak that so that there's a number of involved with the severity. I just feel having it open-ended could lead to a lot of surprises for students, parents, and board members. And I feel like we could short-circuit that surprising element by having a black and white number so it's not such a gray area. Otherwise, I'll have to vote no.
Okay.
Would, you said you have like a chart on like that referral process?
Well, yeah, it's the,
Behavior flow chart.
yeah, behavior flow chart, to see if I can find it.
So it really tells the teachers and the staff,
Yeah.
like you're dealing with a kid, you're gonna try all of these behavior leadership skills and techniques that we've been teaching through the Kid Whisperer for the last 2 years. If you've had your private chat, if you've done this, then it goes to the reflection room. There's not necessarily, at least in mine, so sorry Joe for speaking for you.
No,
Like, there's not a number tied to that, and I would, from my experience, it's really hard to have a number tied to it on your fifth offense, because all teachers handle things differently. Maybe, I'll pick on Lisa because she's here. Lisa says, I'm not doing any of this behavior leadership stuff. I think it's garbage. I don't think it works for older kids. Then it becomes a coaching between Joe and Lisa. I can't hold Noah accountable for, that's our job, is we're here to be working with these kids, right? We don't know what their life is, and if Bridget's being kind of a knucklehead that day, there's a reason, right? Behavior is communication, and we need to figure out what the issue is with Bridget. Maybe she felt Lisa wasn't respecting her. That happened a ton when I was over at the high school, right? So I sit down with Bridget and say, hey, what's going on? Why would you do this to Frau? She's done nothing but this, and this for you. Like, help me understand. And I'm gonna work with Bridget, and then Bridget and I and Lisa are gonna sit down and say, guys, what's going on? And Bridget's gonna be able to speak her mind and say, Frau, you said this, and this was, intention and perception don't line up very often. So my intention when I said that to Bridget was, dude, I need you to work harder. And Bridget's like, oh, I'm really tired, I don't wanna work harder. Whatever the case may be, right? So that could be an offense, and she was sent out where it really shouldn't have been. Right, so that's that coaching piece that we had been talking about, like how can I work with Lisa to say, hey, I know you probably had the disrespect is not okay, but how can we come to a quicker and resolvement than just sending her out? Right, because that's our job, is to work with students. So I hear where you're coming from, where it's like, on your fifth offense, it should be this. So it's challenging, because if you put a number in there, then you're tied to follow that handbook. Where sometimes that we have to live in that gray in education with kids.
And it's not only, I'm sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but it's not only the students, okay? Devil's advocate, as adults, we see numbers. Well, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4, that's 5, you're out.
Yep.
Right? Are we changing behavior by doing that? No, we're not changing that. We're just looking to get to that quota so I can get the kid out of my classroom, instead of trying to work with the kid to see what's going on. We're talking about minor disruptions or minor things here. We're not talking about the big things. We're talking about some of those things that can be handled in the class, right? Because we see that as adults too. Well, I get to a number, this is what should happen. And then it causes a lot of distrust among admin staff, students. So that would be my response to it, so.
You're gonna get, you said that you're gonna get a lot of parents that like, well, Mike's had 5, Bridget's only had 2, and she's already to B. That's a conversation I have all the time with parents, like, Leo did the same thing, why isn't he in trouble?
Not talking about
I
it.
can't talk to you about another student. What I can do is work with you on how can we get Noah to do what he needs to do. Like, help me understand what I can do to help him be successful in school. That's the only thing we wanna do right now is, I don't look at the past, like, how can we make this better moving forward? I don't know if that makes, it's a little bit different when you're living in that gray every day, you know, so. I don't know, I gave my 2 cents and it's not in my report yet, so. It comes up in mine, ditto.
Thank you, Bonnie, for your 2 cents.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to like, have a different perspective around it. But I hear your concerns, I mean, I get that very much, but it's really hard when it is black and white to have any gray, and that's, unfortunately, we spend a lot of our time in gray in education.
Alright. So we have a motion by Janelle and a second by Jamie. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
We'll do roll call then. Dave?
Yes.
Jamie? Yes. Leo?
Yes.
Toby?
No.
Janelle?
Yes.
Angela? Yes. Heather? Yes. Motion passes 6-1. Okay, so we will now move on to the elementary principal report. So go ahead, Bonnie.
I just linked in my workshop because I wasn't sure we were sharing them yet. We do have teachers chomping at the bit, so that will be very good for them. Our workshop will start on the 19th with our new teachers coming aboard, bringing all school staff in on the 24th. We will spend a good majority of time on that Monday the 24th to really go over that standard response protocol that Joe talked about. We wanna make sure our teachers, our staff are very well equipped and aware of our new lockdown procedures, especially when you're dealing with 5-year-olds of like, what do I need to do when I hear this and this and this, and there's 5 of them, and we just wanna make sure that they're very well equipped and feel comfortable with what our process is moving forward. Other than that, I look forward to a really exciting workshop, giving them time to get in their classrooms, getting their head wrapped around some of that first couple weeks. We have some grade level team meeting time to just make sure that that's planned out and set to go. We welcome our families back in on that Wednesday for open house. Those letters, if not have been sent out Friday, they were gonna be sent out today. I was on a personal day, so I'll check today, so I'll check with Laura tomorrow, make sure those went out, but all those appointments have been made. And just look forward to getting our families back in, and it's fun to see those smiling faces, so. You can see my principal goals there for the year. One of the things we've already talked about through Joel's report would be that depth of knowledge and the questioning and really getting into the content a little bit deeper, which is that higher quality instruction. So my goal is to make sure we're getting in and with Mike's support, just like how do we better them in the moment So that is definitely a goal that I would put on my burner, is like, how can I help do that? The other challenge we have in front of us is we have no more early release days, so we know that depth of knowledge and the higher level questioning is a priority this year. So how do we provide that PD to those teachers, while also hitting the PD concerns that they want to pull forward? One of the things that I did at the end of the year was ask each teacher when they turned in their goal reflection is to also give an area of PD that they would like to spend time with. And it's all across the board, right? Like, I really want to spend time, I think it'd be most beneficial for me to dive in here or here and here. And when we give blanket PD time, it really doesn't hit what each teacher needs. So how are we going to do that? So I think we have a PD meeting tomorrow, and I think that'll be part of that discussion. You can see our enrollment numbers. This was as of last Wednesday, when I got my board report to Mike. This has changed probably 6 times since then. It's just the time of year we're in. We have some in, we have some out. So that's where we were at last Wednesday. My handbook changes. The big changes that you'll see in any of those are the times. We are coming into the building at 7:55 at Hinckley. The time change stays the same at Finlayson, and that's due to busing. So we are dropping off after at Hinckley, after the high school, and then we're picking up after the high school. And Ronnie was like, thank God, that was so smart. Like, keeping the little kids on the bus less time is advantageous for everyone. So that was the reason for our change. Other than that, it's staff updates. We took out a couple things that were really outdated. There was a directory information, and I don't know how I missed it for the last few years, but it said if you don't want your child's directory information shared, to fill out this form, and we don't know where it's at. So we just made that more streamlined. If you don't want that shared, you need to contact the principal in writing. And that was inconsistent through the 2 handbooks, so we just updated that. Other than that, really no big changes. The other thing that will be updated or put in ours is the standard response protocol. So you'll see some of that code blue, code red stuff. That will be replaced with that standard response protocol as soon as you guys approve that. Other than that, they are set to go. Do you have any questions on the handbooks?
I do. So for both of you, with the teacher goals, and then you meet with them, at the end of the year, however that happens, or if it's throughout the years, can we get updates on some of those goals? We don't need to know individual people, but if we had kind of a matrix of what are some of their goals and how were those goals met, that would be helpful feedback for us as a school board, I would think.
I think, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you think?
I jumped into yours.
I think part of what Mike wants to do too, with you as the board, is kind of develop some kind of overarching, and then we can tie ours into that, because right now it's kind of, what do we want to work on? Whereas I think if we get what do our overall arching goals want to be, and then how can I support that in my classroom?
So you're talking about more specific board goals?
Well, if we wanted to get more unified in what we want to do.
Okay.
I might be speaking.
Yeah, so when we get towards the end on the stuff to talk about the strategic plan, when I've met with each of the groups, that has been one of the biggest consistent items from all of them is if the board we could put together a strategic plan for the district, then they can start utilizing their goals within that frame. So that would be, so they're going with what they have for right now with the goal, as we'll talk later, and I'll kind of expand on that then.
Maybe we could give you some what some of the big issues that are going on. I can't say here's
But
Bonnie's
even at
goal.
the end of the year, kind of a wrap up, how did things go, because
We can give you
obviously.
a number,
we're
you
gonna
just
be-
can't give you personal information.
Correct, I don't want any personal information, just what are some of their goals and how are some of them met and how were they maybe not met? The other thing is that there is, there's a student survey, and I think that's for, was that sixth graders? I don't remember now which page it was on.
The school,
For the elementary, yeah, there was a student survey in there, and that the data is collected. Can the board
Is it
just
the
see?
That's the-
County?
no, that's the Minnesota's.
The Minnesota.
Oh, the Minnesota survey?
And it's fifth grade that does it.
Okay,
And that is shared with you. I think John shares all that student.
okay, maybe I just totally missed that.
I can
just wanted
double
to
check
see
with
that.
John that
Okay.
is shared with.
Yeah, cause I was looking through the surveys and and he very well might have, just something I'm not remembering,
Fifth,
Fifth, eighth, and tenth, I believe is who
Yeah.
takes it.
so.
I can get that,
We take that every year around September, October, I think.
How many times a year do you take it? I'm just wondering. Why at the beginning of the year?
if you,
We just like to test everybody and do stuff.
I know they stay away from the spring just because of all the testing.
Right.
The state, from the state perspective, that's all.
yeah, I
been
think
the
it's
reasoning
state
there,
set.
but I don't know if that's changed a lot, but.
That's the drug and alcohol one, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of the social,
It's-
especially with a lot of social items in there, because we discussed that at the retreat, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, come up with a way of sharing updates in a general perspective, so I can definitely look at that. Any other questions on my handbooks, or you want me to keep plugging away?
Keep plugging away.
All right, here we go. Reading Corps, as of today, I know that is something that switches pretty often, but as of right now, we are fully hired for Reading Corps, which means we have 2 K-3 tutors at Hinckley. We have 2 preschool tutors at Hinckley, and we have 1 K-3 tutor in Finlayson. This is our 6th year for Hinckley. We had one start in Finlayson last year and didn't quite make it full year. We weren't able to fill mid-year. But we have seen a great deal of success with those tutors coming in, working with those. They work with the bubble kids, the kids that are almost at grade level. They do a lot of great evidence-based practices with them around reading and getting them to grade level, and it's been phenomenal. So excited to have them back in our buildings. Really, the only huge changes we had this year in the elementary school was moving 4th and 5th grade. We've just kind of swapped spots because 5th and 6th are kind of doing a middle school model. So that really helps cut down some of those transition times. So, like I said, other than that, workshop kicks off on the 19th. And all staff are back on the 24th, so. First day of school is September 1st.
Any questions for Bonnie?
Bonnie, I'd just like to make a comment on your elementary handbook for the students. I feel you did a good job. I like what I see regarding the matrix for minor referrals. You've got first referral, second referral, third referral for minor things like disruptive behavior, attendance, things like that. You've got it spelled out. There's no surprises for the student, the parent, or the school board. And the major offenses, it's very black and white. I like it.
Thanks. Okay.
All right, so if we don't have any questions for Bonnie, then I'm looking for a motion to approve the 26-27 staff handbook, the 26-27 student parent handbook, the 26-27 HES substitute handbook, the 26-27 FES substitute handbook, and the 26-27 preschool handbook.
I'll make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion by Toby and a second by Janelle. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And with that, we will move on to our technology director report. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, first off, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to present. I want to extend my gratitude to my support staff, Michelle and Pat. We've been working really hard, navigating a lot of expected changes and a lot of unexpected changes that have occurred this year. So I thank them we couldn't do, all the things that we do without them, so that you guys had a lot to play with, play in that, making sure I'm adequately staffed, so I appreciate that. And thanks for the admin and board for supporting all the initiatives and being flexible with a lot of changes. So you can direct your attention to the department report and the agenda. I just want to highlight a few things. We identified 400 plus devices that were end of life or out of warranty. A majority of them were iPads. Meeting with the technology committee and various teachers and admin, we decided to pivot from iPads to Chromebooks down to 3rd grade. I think that might benefit students from during their testing, their first year testing in 3rd grade. All year they'll be using iPads and then they go into testing and they're on a Chromebook. So hopefully that'll alleviate some test anxiety a little bit, maybe. But also to standardize their devices because they'll be using Chromebooks all the way up to 12th grade. So I think there's some benefits to that management-wise and budget-wise as well. So we procured and deployed 410 new Chromebooks, grades 3 through 8, and the ELC got new Chromebooks as well. We decided as admin and the board to go with a lease agreement. 270 of those devices were secured fair market value, and 140 of those devices were secured with a $1 buyout lease. So after 4 years, we can buy those 140 devices for $1. We get those 140 devices for $140, and we can keep them in our fleet, in our environment. The long-term life cycle strategy moving forward will be to replace or refresh Chromebooks every 4 years. Those devices will be refreshed in grades 5 and grades 9, so that'll ensure that grades 5 through 9 will have decent Chromebooks moving with them for 4 years. After that 4 years, 5th grade, 9th grade, those devices will cascade down to 3rd and 4th grade. And their life cycle will continue. One major area of focus initiative that I'd like to work on in an overarching theme would be to develop a long-term life cycle replacement plan for staff, students, our network infrastructure, pretty much anything that you plug in or connects to the internet. Now I'll move forward to another thing. So we completed the FES network closet rewiring project. I think that's been on the agenda for a few years, so if you'd like to tour it, I can open up the door and I'll show you some pictures.
The picture
In the
is
agenda,
really
you can
nice.
see what it looked like before, but you can tour it and see what it looks like now. So it looks great. So thank you for approving that. Some notable changes that we have discussed in our safety committee team is safety and regulatory training. We're looking at vector training to streamline our regulatory compliance training for state and federal compliance. So that'll be online training. Staff will get 30 days to complete it, so we don't all have to snuggle up in the FAC and spend the day in the FAC. They can do it on their own time. And we will provide, from my understanding, we'll provide time for them to complete that training during contracted hours. Another change to note, Remind has, or Parent Square has acquired Remind. So that being said, we transitioned to Parent Square as our primary district communication. We're still ironing out some details on how we're going to connect with community, but there's some major benefits to Parent Square. Teachers do not have to create and send out QR codes to each and every parent. Students will automatically be rostered to their class, so when they make posts, they send out messages, they just send it to their students and their parents, and they will get it. Another benefit to that is that we can track every message, every post that is sent out and read. So a parent's like, oh, well, I never got that message. We can verify that, look back, yes, you did, or no, you didn't. I'm sorry about that, we'll fix that. So I think that'll be beneficial to help with classroom engagement, parent engagement, and another goal would be to extend that to the community so we can improve community engagement as well. A little piece that we're still working on is community ed, and so we're working on that to figure out how we want to approach that. Going down to future initiatives and strategic planning. One thing to work on this year and the coming years is a 5-year technology strategic plan and budget. I want to develop a multi-year technology plan and budget that aligns with the district strategic plan. So I think it'll be beneficial for us as a district to come up with a plan. What are we doing moving forward as a district? So then I can know, okay, this is what we want our classrooms to look like in 5 years. These are the type of devices we want in 5 years. Maybe we don't want students to have devices until they get to 3rd grade. Those kind of things like that. And so that will help our department to really be proactive in our planning and our budgeting instead of just kind of going off the cuff and getting what we think we want or what we need. So, let's see. I did add an action item to the bottom of the report, so if there are no questions, if there are questions, please present those now. Be happy to address. Yeah.
Parent Square, how was that getting, you said it's taking over for Remind?
Yes.
So are parents automatically signed up for it?
Parents are automatically rostered right now. I have every parent synced.
So it's not something that anybody needs to sign up for? It's just automatically will be connected to their child?
Correct.
Okay.
You have a option to opt in to get the app, but if a teacher sends out a message or there's an alert or a message sent out by the district, you're automatically going to get it via, as long as you have your phone attached, but via email, text message, or the app.
Okay.
And I think if it doesn't reach you via email or text message, it will call you and let you know.
And is that something that should be put into the handbook, stating that you're automatically signed up for this? Like,
That's one of the things that I have highlighted in there for the parent handbook, I believe, is we need to change that remind piece to Parent Square. As we're still trying to wrap our head around it, I don't know what that looks like to get parents signed up. So that will be changed, it's just, we don't have the correct language yet.
Okay.
It is a portion that's highlighted because we know it's changing. So maybe Mike and I can work together to get, like, what is that gonna look like, I suppose?
And so the workflow is going to stay virtually the same as it would in Remind. The only difference is Parent Square is synced with our SIS. So if you're in our SIS, you're getting the messages via Parent Square.
What's a SIS?
Our student information system. Yeah.
Oh, for that.
I thought it was just short for system.
Yeah. That works
Synergies.
too, yeah, that works too.
You do have to make sure you have the right email, because I could not get in and I was really struggling. And it's because I had my other email on file at the school. So it's whatever email's on file at the school is what it's connected to.
see, that's what I'm wondering. So parents aren't automatic.
Well, if you give the wrong information for them to put in, yeah, you're not gonna get the message, so that's.
They got a new phone, like the
Yeah, we
phone
have
has been
some-
disconnected.
Yeah, they change their phone, and they don't alert us, yeah, it doesn't go, and that's that's the messaging you have to get across.
Does that,
So that's what I'm wondering.
does
is there
that
gonna be
update
something-
overnight? Like if they change their email address, if we changed it in Synergy, does that update it or does that something we have to
there's
do
a-
manually?
Daily morning sync. So, yeah.
If they give us that.
So if they give us the right one, we put it in Synergy in the right, like their email and address or a phone number, then it'll go in the next day.
I'm just wondering if there should be something given to parents or sent out.
I did
stating,
send
we're
out-
switching from.
I did send out communication to all the parents and staff.
But is there like a one page?
And we will have to do it again.
Can you receive that to see if she read it?
Yeah.
Can you send
Yeah, I did send it out via email, so, yeah. Well, no, and I sent it out via Remind as well, so.
I'm just saying so parents know, not just us, but parents know that Remind's no longer being used, we're now, maybe something.
Yep.
I don't know.
Maybe double check
I've
your
been getting a
email
lot of
and phone
messages.
number.
We did put that in Jag Track. I put it in Jag Track and it will be going out in first aid forms as well. One way or another, parents should receive the message.
Do our best to get it. You always know, no matter what you do, there's always some to track down.
Mm-hmm. Maybe there could be some one-pagers that we can put up during open house too,
Right.
is just like.
Yep.
Oh, instead of looking through the 72 pages they're gonna get for first aid forms.
Mhm.
We know they're not gonna read everything, so.
What's that, the
We can
classroom, we're
class-
sitting and
Class that, yeah.
The exception would be for groups, so like if there's any additional groups like speech or youth football, anything like that, there will be a link sent out for you to join. You can opt in or opt out of that as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike? All right, then I am looking for a motion to approve the 2026-27 Parent Student Technology and Mobile Device User Agreement Form.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, there's a motion by Toby and a second by Janelle. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. Now we are on to board committees. If anybody would like to share, I think Janelle, you're the only one that had a board committee this past month.
Yeah, so there was a spread retreat that was like a 5-hour day, and a lot of that was just operational and some strategic planning for SCRED. Then in the evening of the same day, there was also a SCRED board meeting, so that was a long day. Mr. McNulty laughed at me when he got to leave and I could stay. So, yeah. And that was pretty much, it was a lot of the approval of election of officers and the meeting schedule for the year, insurance, newspaper, all of that stuff. And then they showed the upcoming trainings for SCRED staff and just financial reports. So it's kind of a standard meeting.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then we're moving on to our community ed report. It looks like Pam is not here, so it's just written only. So if you have any questions about the report, let Mr. McNulty know, and he can touch base with Pam and get those questions answered for you.
And we haven't put anything in there for like approval yet because we've only met a couple times trying to work some of the stuff out with everything. So as we get that moved forward, the big part is, of course, it was probably good. The pool heat was down when it was nice and hot, like 95 every day. You know, the pool heats that back on. It went on when it was still 95. So, but otherwise things are, we're moving in the direction of just trying to figure out all our, help her get all our ducks in a row right now.
All right, then we're moving on to communications. Is there any communications that the board didn't see?
And I put action on there, but we didn't have any. It was just there from repetitive, and so I put yellow, so I didn't X that one off.
Yep. So nothing came in?
Nothing on communications at all either. I'm just referring back to media, sorry about that.
Nope, you're fine.
Yep.
Okay, so no communications. Moving on to new business. Jaguar Pride, thank you to our building custodians and summer custodial crew. The buildings look great and are in great shape to start the school year. Thank you to the coaches, community members, and volunteers who ran additional summer programs for our students. Thank you to our trainer, Jill Bednar, for working with our student athletes in the weight room this summer.
And if you have the chance to get into the district office, surgery is mostly over. There's just a giant desk in the middle of the office, but it's painted and it's an improvement on the cosmetics in there, so it's been nice. So Keith and his crew are kind of finishing up today, so thank you to all of them. They stopped in.
Can you put a thank you to Lisa?
Yes, and we will add a thank you to Lisa for her amazing work with the German trip and the time that she spent. So thank you, Lisa, again for that.
We add a shout out to Maggie Lee for, she was at, National Night Out with our early childhood, representing our early childhood program. Did a lot of face painting that night. So it was really fun to see. There was a ton of people there, and not very many booths, so it was nice that she had a table there.
Okay, thank you. We will add Maggie to that list as well. Any other additions to the Jaguar Pride list? All right. So we will move on. The IRS has made a rare mid-year change to the standard mileage rate due to high fuel prices. The IRS announced July 13th that the business standard mileage rate per mile is rising to 76 cents for the period from July 1st through December 31st, 2026.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, that doesn't happen usually. Just to let you know that what the board chooses to do here, if because you approved this at the last meeting to go with the IRS rate, if you choose to stay with the IRS rate, then there's no action taken because you've already approved to do that. However, if you choose to like keep it at the 72.5 cents instead of 76, then we need to take some action on keeping it as what you set it back in July for the remainder of the year. And if it changes again, which can't see it doing that, but it's just, they don't do this very often, so just to let you know, that's your choice as a board, what you choose to do if you want to bring that up.
So if we leave it to adjust with the IRS, anytime it changes, it will just automatically change and we don't have to come back.
Right, I would just share it like an
and reapprove.
informational, but if you want to make a change, then you have to create a motion to, the district will choose it at a certain amount, in this case, the 72.5 cents.
Okay.
Heather, I have an opinion on that. I don't think we should change it. I don't think our staff should make money off of it. And like right now, California's paying $5.59 for gas and $6.88 for diesel. And Hinckley, I believe, is your lowest at $3.89, I think. And the high, well, you lowered it today? Okay. And $3.99, I think, is the highest. So I don't see a reason to change it at this point. So if you're open for a motion, I would make one to keep it the same.
Okay, go ahead, Leo.
Okay, that's my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to keep it the same at the 72.5 cents.
And we do still have a district vehicle,
Two of them.
two of them, it's staff.
Yep, then they don't get reimbursed. If those are open to be used, then they use that.
And those are no longer used for transportation.
Take three, I think they still use them, Joe, or do you? I don't know
One's
the
used
details.
for,
One's driver's ed.
driver's ed and the others kind of as needed.
Yeah, I believe we kept on purpose out of the contract with 4.0 to have it for staff.
Okay. We'll do our best to communicate that across to them, because, obviously they use that. It's if it's open, it's better, so.
Yeah, so there is an option for a school vehicle for them as well. Okay, so there's a motion to leave the IRS rate the same. Is there a second?
Is that normal practice? Like, for majority of places, do they follow the IRS rate?
I'll just give you my experience. When I was in Les Perry, when they did the recession times around 2010, give or take, I don't remember the exact year, when they were kind of jumping it, we decided after, I think it was like the second or third year jump, to keep it at the previous rate or 10 cents under the IRS rate because of the consistent jumps it made. That's the only time I've experienced it. It's a district choice. You never have to go with that. It does tend to follow, I'll just give this, it tends to follow the coasts. That's just what IRS tends to do because they usually have the highest cost, so they tend to follow that. That's just been my experience, but it is always up to you.
Does it ever go down?
Like most things, no. Inflation tends to go, gas, no, give it this. Gas, after we jumped up back then, went down a little bit, then it does go down. So like if you see gas around here, probably they say just get back to $3 a gallon, which would be great. But if it does, you'll see the IRS, if it follows suit on the coast especially, but if everybody tends to follow it, then yeah, they've gone down. But most of the times, like stamps.
We started at 72.5. Are we making it so it doesn't go down? Or if we follow the IRS and they go down because of economic.
You can change, like if we saw a major change to gas jump, I would, and ours did, I would bring that back to the board. And you have always the right to go back to the IRS if you want to. Yes.
And there's no penalty
No,
for not following.
no, you actually, as a district, you have the right to set it at what you want.
I'll second Leo's motion.
We have a motion by Leo and a second by Angela.
Gas, how much is gas fluctuating right now? A
How
lot.
much does it fluctuate?
Right now.
Yeah, right now, gas is really fluctuating a lot, right?
Yeah,
Cause you said it just came down now today.
I mean, you get a speech from Iran and that there's hope, and it'll drop. And then it gets, oh, we're not doing that, it'll go up. I mean, it drives me nuts on a daily thing.
Well, then you just got the regular ones, so Labor Day's coming, so it'll go up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And they gotta do their changeover to winter blend, so while the plant is shut down, they'll jack prices up until that blend is set up, so, I mean, it fluctuates all the time.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, so policy committee to review all policies moving forward. After reviewing our policies and MSBA's, Mr. McNulty is recommending that the school board has a committee review of all Hinckley policies and to put a process in place. We started talking about this last month. So the committee would be composed of the superintendent, 2 to 3 board members, and another member of the administrative team to be assigned. Review would start in September and it would be policy number 2.
So policy 2A is the policy you guys have
Oh,
in place that actually will list, as I talked about, every 3 years in the cycle. That is actually MSBA's policy. You can see this one you have in there. That's a cycle that is pretty much commonplace throughout the districts. However, as Chair said, that I think what we did, looking at your policies you have in place, looking at MSBA's and the recommended, we have a lot of differences. I would say I can't give the exact count because I haven't put them in the spreadsheet because I have them all written and listed, but there's a good 10 to 15, and I think it would be very advantageous for us as a district and a board to pretty much get those aligned properly and then get that cycle and process place. So if all of us disappear, somebody comes in, they know we've made the update, we've got it in place, and they can continue that. And it also puts a lot less stress on you guys because you're really wanting to get to springtime is the common thing, kind of like that March, April, May, or April, May, June, where we review each year. Except for, again, as I said before, annual ones we're gonna have to approve. So come September, I'll bring the annual ones because you have to approve those each year. And if there's any major mandate updates by legislature, then you start those on the first reads too. They were actually pretty quiet the last year and a half overall. Because if you not recall, 3 years ago, they were extremely active and had a ton of ones they wanted, done by 3 months. So that is my recommendation. I think it'd be great to get us all in place. Right now, I think it'd be good to have 3 board members. Obviously, you don't want to do 4 because I need to go into the, probably only get many showing up for public meetings. We don't need to have that as a review and then bring that back. My suggestion would be come September here, kind of get it all, the plan in place to bring back along with the annual ones. And then that way when it comes spring, we move forward. And then probably then you might be able to go down to 2, but I think it's 3 heads would be really good to have right now. And when I say administrative team, I mean, if it's a curriculum thing, I'm probably bringing John in. If it's an administrative thing, I'm bringing Joe or Bonnie in. If it's technology based, I'm bringing Mike in. That's what I mean by assign. It would be as per needed. It's finance, we're bringing Bridget. I mean, that's just as per needed by the policy. So that's what it means by assigned.
And in discussions, because it's a new policy committee and we haven't had one before, Angela and I had talked and we would both be on it for the first year just to get it off the ground. And then the thought is because it's new to have somebody seasoned, a seasoned board member join that maybe has even more experience than I do of looking at policies. And then after the first year, once it's in place, then, any of us could step off and then reassign it, but just to start. So does anybody have like an interest in being that third person as we pilot this? Policy committee.
It's the one that's exciting one, come on. It's your best Friday night reading.
So I think this one's gonna need like guidance because we've never had one and
Yeah, I've done this with,
expertise with policies that,
I'll just give it to you, it's not exciting. Most of it, there's not a lot of change, you follow MSBA's. It's gonna be more just getting it all in place, and then once we get this going, then the changes that are gonna happen.
yeah,
The goal would be here for me to get stuff ready, Dave, like for sometime in September, where then when we got together, I think that my experience, that first meeting is gonna take a couple hours or so to dive in, but I'll get stuff out to you, so I'm gonna try to link all the policies in the spreadsheet, show what MSBA will have, so that, you have it for access. And then, really, once we get that in place, so maybe 2-3 hours there, we're gonna be.
Do something in the evening or something during the day?
Well, probably the evening based on your guys' schedules, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd probably be something after, you might have to do on a
How long?
Tuesday night at 5, and I'll have to eat something here and sit there and read the exciting policy, so.
Yeah.
Cause if you guys looked at, most of it is legal stuff they throw in there, yeah.
and you're not tied to it, just like for this first year, because then, like Angela and I we wouldn't need probably both the chair and the vice chair to be on it, so one of us could say at that point, if there was somebody else that wanted to really do it, then we would say, okay, when you take it, but just to get it like piloted.
And then my goal would be, as Heather, then come next year when you guys set up your committees, to have a policy committee, and then you guys choose to be moving forward, who's gonna be, maybe those 2 members that are on that every year.
Yep.
Each year. So like I said, do you?
Yep. So do we need to take action on that?
No, it's just you've appointed a committee to go and, or a pre-committee just to study to get it ready. Yeah, it should be good there, but then by September,
Pre-committee.
yeah, it's just to kind of get set, to get organized for, since we have
The
an
actual
official,
committee.
yeah. We, then we'll put official committee in place for next year as one of your committee members. Or one of your
okay.
committees there.
Okay.
We're just gonna have lots of fun reading this. Any volunteers out there? Noah?
Oh, I'm so out. I've been gone for a long time.
This is one you don't wanna jump for.
We appreciate your honesty.
I gave my report.
Good answer.
All right. So then we will move on to, just talking again about the discussion on MREA and.
Yeah, and I can get you updated that. So, I've known a little bit about staff. I haven't truly ever been truly part of it, but I've got to talk to some peers, which I did again, after I had Bridget check that we had actually paid staff here to be a member. Great, they finally do some good lobbying. These committees, or these organizations do. And I'm not sure why they don't all work together all the time, but they don't. However, my take on this in the professional is that it tends to be a third ring Twin City group of, pretty heavily. And if you guys understand legislative, pretty much what the Twin City areas say is what ends up happening. MRA to me is much, if you look at their map, which Aaron Fisher would share with you, he's now the executive director. He would want to come do a presentation first on MRA, because I want you guys to be informed to see the difference, because make a decision on that. They do also a conference during the year, a lot more what you call professional development for the smaller schools, and they still lobby. And it's slightly less cost, there's not a lot of difference, they're both in the low mid 2,000 range over, so you wouldn't see a financial change at all, just very little bit one way or the other. I think right now it's a little bit less. And you get a discount if you come on early. Of course, that's how they pitch in. But I would bring in Aaron Fisher to just present to you guys so you can take a look. I've also sent out a question to the SAFF. Yeah, because I want to make sure it's SAFF to ask them if we are tied for that for the whole year, or is there a way we can maybe get out of it, partway through the year. I have not got a response back yet, but I just put it there to kind of get the squeak wheel and send another one. Just give me an answer. I mean, I don't know their rules of that, their ground rules yet, because I haven't got anything back from them. I asked them to send that to me just so we know. But of course, it's a membership, so they're not gonna be too quick to answer, but that's my take on it. Just wanted to ask if that's someone you guys would be, open to having Mr. Fisher come and present what MREA does. And, you know, it's a spiel, but at the same time, I think it's a little more beneficial to the smaller outstate schools. And so I would look to try to get him out here maybe September, October, if that's something that this board would like to happen. And from there, we may make a decision early, yes or no, or we might be just waiting until next June.
When does the membership renew?
It goes by the school year, so you're talking July 1st to June 30th, that's a year membership.
Is there interest in having MREA come to present to learn more about it?
I don't think it would hurt to have them come.
What I'll do then, if you guys agree with that, then I'll just ask Mr. Fisher, you know, is September, I'll give him our date, or October better, because I don't know his schedule.
Yeah.
Because I know he's newer to the director position, so I know he's got to go see all the schools. I'll ask him which one works, and then I'll just keep you up to date and let you know. I already told him about 10-15 minutes would be plenty of time, and he said, yeah, he doesn't want to go past that anyways. He knows board stuff, he's been a super for 25 plus years, so. I will move on that and then just let you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, can I ask just one
Yes, sir.
question? Do you feel like the cost of that MREA, that we would definitely get our money's worth out of that?
My feeling, and I can't speak completely to SSFF because we were at Rockford, but we didn't get that involved, and it would have been Superintendent Ryder Hoover that would have been the one there. I've been part of MREA at both Barnum and at Lester Prairie. I thought it was beneficial specifically because they do more professional development with your staff too. So like mostly, and they have teacher stuff too, but they do a little more in the administrative director staff to try to help that along with the lobbying. I like the MSBA conference the best. I just do. I don't know. I think I get the most stuff from there. Probably because, I don't know, just my favorite. But that's probably the second best one I've had. And they've actually, it's a good networking group because it is pretty much the districts under 1,000 students that are part of it, where SAFF is going to have a little more range from 500 up to, I mean, some of those suburban schools are talking 4,000 or 5,000 kids. My feeling, and this could be personal and professional, is just I think they focus on the Twin City area more, and I don't find that very favorable to the outstate where I've been most of my time.
Sure.
That's my take on it, Toby.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah. So I'll work on that for you guys and let you know.
Okay, thank you. All right, we will move on to substitute teacher pay. Recommend starting at $155, but moving to $170 after subbing 10 days. $77.50 minimum for a half-day substitute teaching, and recommend $170 for teachers retired from HF schools, but moving to $180 after 10 days. Increase for retired teachers is sustained by not paying into TRA for retired teachers. HF retired teachers are preferred by many staff as they know day-to-day routines and usually students. The local average of $160 of 7 schools reporting. We're recommending that we continue to pay the substitutes background check and substitute license if they sub 10 or more days. This is the same as we have had in place for the past 2 years, and additionally recommended to add the following benefits to our substitute teachers. The admin team kind of met together and talked about adding that after 10 days of subbing, the sub could choose one of the following: activity pass, a voucher for JAG gear up to $45, a $45 value of fitness passes to our community ed facility, and then after another 20 full days of subbing, the substitute would choose one of the following of the activities pass, a voucher for JAG gear up to $45, $45 value of fitness passes. So those are just some options.
Yeah, I met with Pam and Mandy. We were kind of talking it through where, brainstorming them, and I also find the little details of how would that be, any little inconvenience or things on the process on their side, and that they both gave me that. They thought that was a good value. I agreed with them. I didn't obviously know all the costs, but it kind of came up that stay consistent with that as a little thing, especially if we have a sub burner and gear inside that. I think Mandy had that one, said that would be a great way to, if they don't have it, they can, get them some red. Thought that'd be a nice little part right there to see where we go, but again, we put in 10 and 20 because we didn't want somebody, Joe come in for one day and then, you get that voucher. No, we need to be consistent, so there's just a little extra bonus there, that we thought would be a great way to start. And then we figured this, if the board approves and we do it, as after they get 10 or 30 days in total, we ask them what they thought. Because if they give feedback, they may say, great, but what about this? And then we can get some ideas from there. But I thought this would be a great start for it, a little bit extra, and that's what we're bringing to you, so.
Just one thought off the top of my head. So we're offering the 10 days and then 20 days. Could we increase the 20 days incentives or benefits to be a little bit better than the 10 to keep them, to want them to continue? Like, oh, hey, we got level 1, now we made it to level 2 and that, and that benefit is better, or maybe.
What do you think, Bridget, budget-wise, not to put it in there, huh? Not too bad?
Is it gonna break us?
Really, looking at the subs, there's a handful that are consistently showing up every single day, and they're great. It would be okay to do a little bigger incentive on the 20-day. Cause like I said, it'd be those handful of 5 to 8 subs that show up every time we call. And I think they're more than deserving on getting that, and that would show gratitude that we appreciate them showing up.
Okay.
So we look to double the thing, so 20 days kind of stay with that ratio of 8, 10, you got this, so 20 more, you double it up
You
there.
get to double it, or, maybe instead of picking one, they pick 2, or,
Yep.
if you just wanna get $90 in J gear instead of picking 2, you could do that, just.
Okay, so wording it so where the subject can choose $90 worth if it passes, so the may have family members or a gift to
They could
Janelle.
choose 2 of the following.
Yep, up to $90.
Mix and match.
I wonder if offering a school lunch too when they're working would be I know our reading corps, we cover our reading corps lunches. I just wonder, now as I'm thinking, we see subs eating all the time, so
That's a great.
is it worth throwing a free lunch at them?
I think it is.
Not literally throwing at them, just that's
But can that be
Should take a little bit.
could that be something we offer them every day they sub? That they wouldn't have to sub 10 days in order to get a free lunch, school lunch?
But maybe after 10 days.
I was gonna say, I'd wanna put a cap on that,
Let's just say that's.
just because those do add up quickly.
How about this, well, we can prove the 10 days, because we come back in September before anybody's gonna get 10 days in. And if we think we wanna, we'll fine tune the second one, get a chance for Bridget and I to look at the lunch part.
Well, the second one, after 20 days, why not give them all 3? There's a fitness pass, there's no expense from the school, they just get to use that free. What does it cost us to get it free? Nothing, it probably wouldn't go there otherwise, so.
Well, why don't we do that then?
That is a good
We'll get the first one and then we'll fine tune the second one. Bridget and I get a chance to look at the lunch thing, because we definitely got a cap, because that one can really go up.
The only expense would be the card or fob that they get for.
Alright.
But that's a one-time
thing.
so.
Yeah.
And there is no cost to the school to have them come to activities.
I like the free meal, but I thought that, some past superintendents have told me that's not legal.
And we'll check that too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if you get the first one in, to get it, because obviously, we're only here for about probably 7-8 days before we have our next board meeting. If we get a chance, we'll explore that rule on there, and then David will come back and fine tune, like you said, with that on the second part. These are other great ideas, so. That'd be, so, but I think, I want to recommend that no matter what we recommend, the first part was pretty much what Brian and his team put together this last spring. And then we'll add that first bullet as the recommended motion for that, and then I'll bring back some more information to add to that, because it's with subs, and then it's just a process of then us informing them that they're eligible, for this now. Is that?
So look for a motion to approve the
Everything but the
10 full
second.
days of subbing
Yeah,
incentives.
they can choose one of those following.
Yep.
Along with the previous information out there on the second costs.
Okay.
And Bridget, make sure Bridget on the part that Brian, when you guys did, the stuff up top was what was budgeted anyways, based off estimate, obviously it's estimates, cause you don't know how much.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're looking for a motion to accept the substitute teacher pay and the incentives offered after 10 full days of subbing where they could choose one of the following benefits.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's a motion by Dave and a second by Angela. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. All right, next up is the lunch and breakfast rates.
They got it in before August 31st, woo-hoo! Actually, I think it was, Julian, I think it was like 2 days after the board meeting, all of a sudden I got an email like, really? Wow. So, if you look at your information right there and under F, the first part, you can see the rates from last year. And then obviously, kind of flip it over and see that the change comes in the adult lunch area right there in terms of the meal rate. So we have an increase on the, I think on the 26, 27 stuff. Did I send it to you? Mine disappeared.
25, 26.
Says the new price will be $5.30.
Yeah, on the rest of the stuff, yeah, but I should have had, when I copied, all right, when I changed it, I must have blanked out 26, 27. Sorry about that, but the adult lunch, you can see on the meal recommendation, the adult price of $5.30 is still there. That's the increase that you see from previous right there, so.
Okay.
And I think Julie, since I blanked it and I can't pull it up right now, they didn't change the other stuff, correct?
No,
Yeah, I wanted to make sure, because I obviously,
and that
That metal.
$5.30 also goes for a second meal if the student decides
oh,
to
yeah,
have a second meal.
that was, okay. So sorry for that, I must have actually, when I moved that, I put the thing down low, but I bet you when I saw stuff she had, and she put in there and I added, and I took it back out when I put it to the new one of hers, so. Yeah, but that's the change right there, is the $5.30 for the adult lunch and the second meal. Again, the kids' meals are free again this year, and we'll see what that's, it's a budget year coming up, so, and I have a new governor, so who knows what's gonna happen, but at least this school year, we know that's still set in place, so.
And
Recommending the
milk and breakfast are the same.
Which is surprising, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any questions about the meal recommendations that have been presented? Okay, then I'm looking for a motion to accept the meal recommendations.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion by Toby and a second by Janelle. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. We're moving on to discussion items. Informational only. There is a link attached to the actual board meeting schedule based on the board approving last month to keep the meetings the same, the second Monday of each month at 7 p.m.
Yeah, we're gonna just double check that and I'll get Michelle, she'll post it up on our website, and then we'll also get in on the board part of it, and then we'll also be putting that outside the office too. Just wanted to make sure, if you see any edits there, holler, because I noticed one right before I sent it, like 10 minutes before I sent it to you last week, and I still have a 5:30 something on there from some, I don't even know what it was. So I got to 7.
Putting the location.
What's that? Oh,
Add the location.
thank you, good point, yeah, because it does rotate, yes.
Yeah.
That's something I have to get used to, so I will put the locations on there for posting. Thank you.
All right, then continued discussion and sharing of information regarding a board retreat to set up a strategic plan for the school district. Mike, did you have any updates on that?
Yeah, so I kind of, listened to them, and they sent a lot of information and went through what both MSBA and, in this case, Teamworks. I did get one other, I step back. I put out a thing to the superintendent groups, both from the Northeast region and, was it Region 3? I think, yeah, Region 3, the middle one. And I got a bunch of feedback. Probably everybody has used these two. two. There was one other one I have, sent out, I haven't got a reply back, I don't remember the name of what it was. It was two individuals who had retired and did it, so they, so I looked them up and sent something, but I haven't looked, I probably should check my spam. So I listened to MSD and Teamworks, and obviously they would want to come in to present to the board. There are two different levels of what you'd be working with, just so you know that. That's the biggest thing when I ask the questions. MSBA is going to do a much more condensed, smaller version. Obviously, it's much less cost. And you're going to do a little more of the work, and they're going to be more of the guidance. And they're going to do some work within the district in terms of like surveying and so forth. And you can see in the link, it's a very obviously brief on there, but they went through that. Teamworks is going to give you a whole bunch of levels and a lot more detail, but then obviously the cost is a lot more. And I think it ranges from basically 20 to 40,000, give or take on the thousands there, depending on what level you go. But they're going to do a lot more in depth, a lot more setting it for a longer period of time. So it really becomes a choice, and that's why each of them has their own niche, so to speak. Spoke to some of the superintendents who have used both. They've both been very happy with both. It really comes down to what you're looking. But I would still want to bring them into either a committee made up of some board members to listen and bring it to as a recommendation or not, and or to the whole board, where you'd look as both groups said it would take a good 45 minutes. They like to say an hour because they give you question time. So a good half hour to 45 minutes for them to cover stuff, 15 minutes, 30 minutes to cover questions. So it'd be taking like a board work session where we'd have to set it for a time and then say, all right, we have these two groups coming in, if you want to go through with the strategic plan. So I'm asking you guys to take a look at that stuff. I linked the Teamworks, I called it 1 and 2 on there. It's in yellow, but it's hard to tell because it's just 1 and 2 and the Roman numerals. So you can get their information and access their stuff that they send me, kind of in their flyers and so forth. You can also go on their websites, but they don't have near the detail on you that these two do. And kind of step back from that, as I alluded to before, one of the items I've taken in by meeting with the board members and then with a lot of the administrative team and quite a few teachers and other people and other departments is a lot of ideas out there. Great, it's been really good, and the part I get though from a combination that I see from you guys and gals and then from the team here and others is they're looking for a little more direction, and I'm seeing there's 20, 30, 40 ideas come out there. Great ideas. Some I agree, some I don't. That's life. We know that. Leo and I talk. You can agree to disagree. That's part of the process. But I would think it would be very advantageous for the district to the board, in this case, to kind of fine tune that within and then allow the teams out there to see the direction you've taken and do very much the same thing, keep within action steps within that strategic plan. I think it gives them more purpose and a little more down where I don't have too many different people coming at me and saying, well, did you take care of this? Did you do that? But what's the board think on this? I think this would give a little more continuity that would show to them. Obviously, then it would be, as I talked before last meeting, that we would do that something during the school year to get into place starting like next spring into the summer where it really kind of hits the next school year. So they have a chance to kind of communicate that out and the board have time to actually get there. Because they said, comment to both of them, this isn't something that takes 2 weeks. It's going to be just to go through this as a 4 to 6 week process alone. That they're going to do their work, so they got to bring it back to you so you can do your work to fine tune this. So I'm asking in this case, would the board like to move forward with listening to that? Or maybe the board doesn't want to go down that line of having a strategic plan. I'm recommending, just from my standpoint and listening to a lot of the constituents out there, haven't got a chance to, well, they're community members and staff members, let's put it that way. But the staff members is specifically thought that that's what they would like to see because it helped them fine tune what they're doing. Specifically, Mike put in his thing, he'd really like to base a plan off that. And then our two principals kind of talked to it a little bit on the goals that would help fine tune some there, but that's what I've got for now. Just leave it to you guys to discuss because it's something you just choose to do or not to do.
Mike, where do I find the link for the Teamworks?
So I sent out a new one, Toby, it should be, if you hover, is it not working?
No,
You
I'm
hover?
looking at the updated agenda as well.
Is it not working?
And I can
The
see
link?
where, you have Teamworks informational document to be added after meeting with the company on
Yeah,
Friday,
and I
but
sent
that
out a new
meeting
one.
happened, right?
Yep,
It's up, it's right on mine that you printed, but in the
It didn't-
updated
the link
agenda
didn't
for
go right there?
tonight,
Okay,
unless
thank
it's
you.
just me and Toby that don't have it.
no,
I have
I'll
it.
check, so
Okay.
these,
I don't have it.
Oh,
which is weird, because on mine it shows.
if you open it on the PDF he just sent,
Oh,
he
Is there a
sent it
new
in a
one?
PDF.
Yeah.
I'm in the PDF.
Yeah, this afternoon, I
oh,
believe it
well, I
was.
was
Yeah.
the one you sent this afternoon, but let me see.
Yeah, 'cause I'm-
Yeah,
I say I'm on it right now and it worked, but I wanna make
I'm
sure it
gonna
gets
go
to you
back
guys.
in.
And Leo, I had to print, it's a lot of pages, so I gotta print it,
He sent it in PDF.
and I gotta switch it up color
Updated.
because there's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, no, it's
Okay.
not in that
So I
one.
will take care of getting that, I wrote it
Must be in
down
the
to get
old
that to
one.
you.
So I don't have it.
I don't
No,
have it.
open the agenda from August 7th.
Okay.
I have it somewhere, I just had it, so I don't know why.
So it's not in the
Tell me.
updated one, it's in an old one that you sent, it looks like? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
No, I had it,
I can have it.
I don't know where I opened it from now,
Well, I'm gonna
because
go
now I
in
can't
there.
find it.
Yeah, because it's doing it there, but then something must have not went through, there only was one or two people, or one
Do
person
you
right now.
have it, Bridget?
In board agenda, August 2026, both links work for me, they're PDFs.
Works for me, but I can't find it now and they were
I don't have it in either of mine.
All right, well, obviously it's a technology thing, right, Mike? I will, no, it's the guy who's linking it in this case. I will go in there and make sure the link is, because I have got it and it says it's copy link, and I will make sure I get that out to you guys. As soon as we get down here to make sure that I do it right, so I have the guy who will make sure I do it right there. And not, so, and he's got great initials, so he's gonna keep me on my toes, so. Yeah, I'll make sure, Toby, thank you, so obviously, it did for one before, but, in there,
I
but
can see it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can see it on what you printed for me, but
it's
I might
weird, yeah,
email it.
okay.
Teamworks 4, the number 4ED.com is their website.
And I'll get those two, they send stuff, I'll get those out, as soon as we're done here, I'll make sure that's done, so, thank you.
Thank you.
Obviously, some I didn't like, right, I probably didn't hit that, probably restricted, or somebody I don't have on there, like copy link, so.
So what you're looking for from us is direction to move forward or not. So
Yeah.
I think we just wanna get a feeling, like, are we wanting to do this, or do we just know we don't wanna do it? Cause I think it's a lot of time. So just looking for feedback from the rest of you guys on if, you seriously wanna look at doing it, and, I will give my opinion that I think it would be a great thing to look into. Like we've just heard from other admin departments that if we have better guidance, then they can, plan their policies and their plans for the next few years based on what we want. So it's something that I would personally like to see us talk about, but that's just me. So I wonder what the other 6 of you feel like.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
I agree.
So if the case is there, my job, and then they ask if you want me to bring in, because both groups, I could give a recommendation, but in this case, I think it's beneficial for all of you to kind of listen to them. Obviously, part of it's a sales pitch, you understand that, that's what they do. But there is a good cost differentiation on, it definitely only go with one is to how more setting up the process and kind of moving with it, and the other, to kind of get you into that 3 to 5 year down. And the other one's gonna do a lot more to kind of say it's gonna go longer, that's why you're paying for it. And I think that'll be a big listening part for you guys to take in, because obviously it affects, what you decide you want to spend on it too.
And it takes all 7, correct?
What's that?
It takes all
Yeah,
7.
yeah, this has gotta be a thing where the board and staffing, it's also gonna be, you guys are ultimate, so you have to be part of that. But they also go out to staffing, students and so forth, and Teamworks goes even a little further on this because they have.
But we wouldn't even get off the ground if it's not all 7 of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
it needs to be a commitment by all 7 people, that is correct,
And I
yeah.
want everyone to feel like
They
they have an
emphasize that to
opinion.
me, and I should say all 8 people. They
All
said,
8,
yeah,
okay.
I don't get a vote, obviously, but they said you have to, it's us 8 going into a room and really going down, and then they go out to the staff to get the rest of it.
The links have been added to the bottom of the
I saw you
technology
guys doing something,
report.
thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I saw you two going, I'm like, they're doing it.
Which report?
the technology report.
Oh,
After
Yeah.
Mike's signature on the
I
second
don't know what
page.
they did, but I just saw their names pop up on stuff here, so. Thank you two for getting all of them on there. Yeah, so that is the commitment that, Ray talked to me about, and Gail was from MSBA, Ray was from Teamworks, that said this is all, in this case, 8. There'd be some time after, like I said, it's a 4 to 6 week process, but a lot of that's spent out there, but we're also talking, where we're gonna have to give away a couple of days of our time, and we determine that whether half days, whole days, and when they're gonna be. They said they've done weekdays, they've done weekends, it's just up to us. But we
They
have
could
set a
work with our
schedule.
schedules.
Yeah, as best they can, but it would, also a commitment, and I know you guys have, your lives outside this. So that is the commitment that you would have to make as a group, once we get to that point. So think about that, because that is something a little beyond your normal.
When would you like to know by?
Based off that, if I bring them in, set up a time for them to present, it would be, as soon as possible, sometime by, the end of September.
Okay.
Don't know if you wanna go to like a work session before board meeting, like from 5 to 7, one group from 5 to 6, 1, 6, 7, or you'd rather do it on a separate day. Because it's gonna be a couple hours, and I think you guys are gonna have a lot of questions and thoughts on that to discuss. And then, obviously, we do that, make the commitment by October, because they're scheduling already, and they said they wouldn't be able to get jumping into October, November, or anyways. Both of them said they're already doing stuff with other groups, and they have to juggle their schedules based on what we want, so. That would be the timeline, and then I gave them that January would be the optimal start time to make sure we're really going into it, because we didn't have an election this year, so we'd have all us 8 still part of that, unless somebody decides to move because they win the lottery and go to Bahamas, whatever they choose. Right, Leo? Yeah?
I'm here.
Yeah, you're here. But that would be the case that we, at the latest, get going in January, so that the thing would be in place by the springtime for our coming school year. Yeah.
So I guess like as chair, I would be looking for like everybody's commitment. And I don't wanna put anybody on the spot. So would it be fair if I sent everybody like an email and they could respond to me individually to get a commitment to move forward? Or is that not?
You can, yeah,
Okay.
and you can decide here, you can do that
Because I
that
want
way.
everybody to feel like they can have an opinion,
Yep.
and we have to have commitment from everybody, so I just wanna give everybody the opportunity to respond. So I will email each of you blind copy, so it will only go back to me if you just wanna let me know if you can commit to doing the strategic plan. So
In
that
January.
Yeah, so we can.
We had to
so-
set up, but
Right.
that was the time I gave them.
We're looking at winter.
So then next,
Wintertime.
so then in, what month are we in? Okay, so September, we could bring it back to the board and then we could make what word am I looking for? A formal motion on it to move forward. Right, but we don't wanna do that if we're not gonna have full commitment from everybody, or if people
Yeah,
just
if
can't.
you want the
commit.
commitment and both of them to present those two things, you
Yep.
can choose your order on when to do it.
Okay.
Um,
So if we have commitment, then we
But
could.
you get a chance to read those now, I think they give you some time to look into the two, especially Teamworks, because they're very in-depth.
Okay.
Very in-depth.
So would you also send commitment and possible dates to listen to them? Because you're saying maybe even potentially for the next, coming in and listening to them present before the next school board meeting.
I think the first step would be just making sure we have commitment from us board members and Mike. And then if everybody says, yep, I'm committed to doing the strategic plan, then let's have them present, because if all of us aren't able to commit, then we can't move forward
I'll
anyway.
give you take mine, Janelle, if you guys are in, I'm in.
So I think the first step is just making sure that we are, as a board, ready to commit.
Yeah.
Before we
Because
even
the
bring
time-
anybody in, because that would just be not a good use of
And
time.
I think if you read the Teamworks one in the MSB, you'll see some time things that it would take on your side.
I still can't open
I was gonna say,
it.
I still can't open it, even on the IT one. I don't know if I'm just messing something up, but it still don't work for me.
Yeah, it wasn't working for me either.
I refreshed it.
Can somebody else try it?
Yes.
I'm trying it, I refreshed it, so
It's reopened and everything,
under technology.
and I don't know why it's
Technology
working for me.
department report all the
Like
way
it
to the bottom.
shows up yellow, like I can see it on here, but there's no link, it won't let me open anything.
Boy, technology is being
I can see
mean
Mike's
to us
on it.
today. I don't know. Did
Yeah,
you
I'm on
do?
it.
All the way at the bottom.
You try
Like,
or?
yeah,
Well,
I
you
can
can't
open up
obviously,
MSBA, but I can't do Teamworks.
Oh, right
Do
here.
individual.
Yeah, I got it.
How did you do
You
it
just have
now?
to click.
Just the blue line, just do the one line,
Just
not
the
the words.
Yep,
Oh,
just
you're
the-
hovering.
Don't click on
Yeah,
the words.
hovering incorrectly is what
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Just the one blue line.
It's the one and the two that are linked, yeah, not the teamworks, yeah. I had to do them separate.
And it's all highlighted yellow, so I was like trying to do the
Yeah.
highlighted yellow to work.
Yeah, you
I
said
missed two and it wasn't working, okay, fine.
So to wrap
Thank you for
way more
fixing
in
that.
To wrap that up, I will send out an email, and if each of you could respond to me by, Friday, then I can let Mr. McNulty know to.
And then I'll get that information, and we'll look for a time.
Leo, I'll
Yeah.
chat with you.
Okay,
Yep, and I will, and I'll print those out for you, so you
Okay.
can read them tomorrow, okay? So you have time to have those.
Mike, do both of these, options do any kind of, assessment of our enrollment problems,
Yeah.
why we are losing enrollment?
Teamworks, when I asked them certain questions about where they go out, how they get some of the details, yeah, they talked into, they have to be general, they try to be general because you know the details, they'll describe it to you, because I asked them to describe, but they go out and talk with, they look at your data. So they'll look at, talking with administration, they'll look at what you have for whether it's enrollment, assessments and stuff like that, that is their part to bring to you, and then as a general, try to give you some guidance on, you can make, as I think you and I have talked before, you can make the kind of links, but they're gonna do it from the outside, not ours, and bring it to, their professional, what those trends or ties are to, yeah.
So they give an individual assessment of why they believe our enrollment is shrinking faster
We
than.
could ask them that question, yeah, but they stay a little more general to it, and to ways that you can help to possibly,
Help it?
yeah, guide it, so that, you just kind of stop and go the other direction, yes. But then we have to set those goals and what we want to do based off the information you give us, of course. Yeah. That's the best thing, I think Toby, if they brought him in, they would describe it much better, because he went into the details and then she kind of cut him off by a minute or too long, right? Because he's excited about it.
Right.
He's a business manager, yeah, they're rigid, they get excited on those numbers.
So excited.
Yeah, but he did touch on that, quite a bit and present that to you. Yeah, again, you'll see in the Teamworks, they'll dive a lot more into that, but you're paying for it too.
Sure.
Yeah.
For my schedule, it would work best if we could do it before the school board meeting, just have a long day. Maybe 2 hours, and then 2 hours for the board meeting. Maybe it's a 6-hour day, but it's one day, and that would work best for me just because of my work schedule. If it's something different, I cannot make any promises because of my work schedule.
But are you willing to pursue it and move forward and look at possible dates?
I could do that, absolutely.
Okay.
So you send out to them,
Yep, I'll just send out just to make sure everybody, feels like they,
and if you say, okay, then I'll look to get it set up. Based off what they gave me on that, guys, it would be like, if you wanted to do it on the September, let's see, what day is the September board meeting? It's on the meeting schedule, so we can look.
14.
What's that?
14.
That's back in Hinckley. If you wanna do it that night, it'd be like 5 to 6, we bring MSB in, 6 to 7, we bring Teamworks in. And then the regular board meeting.
okay,
So we'd have to announce that, it's obviously public.
Yep.
And it's be a work session, and then,
so I'll wait to hear from everybody, I will let you
Perfect.
know, if it's a go, then you can reach out to them to see if that would work, and then we can go from there.
yeah, all right.
Okay.
I will-
Mike, what was ballpark figures for this two? Do you have?
MSBA's, I think it was around 11 or 12. It was, yeah, and Teamworks went everywhere from around 20 up to 40-some thousand, depending on what levels.
Okay, thank
I
you.
think they have 3 levels, if I remember. I have to look back at their one sheet, because they have 2 different ones. One kind of goes through the overall, and then one got into the details. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everybody for the discussion on that. We will move on to the Indian Education Parent Bylaws. Approval is not needed at this time for approval for aid or grants.
Yeah, so I'm diving into this a little more, trying to understand it. Got Dave some answers to some of the questions. We kind of furthered our discussion. I also got a hold of Bruce Williams, who was our APEC liaison. And then I also got a hold of, I don't remember the guy's name, it was one we, I've worked with him before too, not Jamie, oh my gosh. Cause, I can't remember his name, I can see it right on the part, and asked him some questions, he sent me over all the actual details of, what has to happen for that. And the biggest part for there is you have to have, 2 tribal consultations. And that has been, was given kind of a hold up, from before, but there's no direct tie. The parent bylaws is part of that process of those, but there's no direct tie to having just prove the parental bylaws to get hearing. That was just a straight up question, no. You have to have the consultations, which that's inclusive of, as part of what you have to set up. And so, that's where it's at right now, and then Bruce responded to me that, because I wanted to use his information and his connection to set up, meetings obviously with our local tribal, whatever team they have, I don't know. And get that going, and then move forward. So we're good for that, for now. If that changes, they say something, but the guy, it starts with an S. He said you're fine there, because as long as you had your spring one, then it would have been signed off, and he had all that in place. And Brian had sent that to me, that was already signed off, so.
If I recall correctly, at the last board meeting, there was a request to see what those bylaws were.
Yep.
Can you send that out maybe to all of the board members
Sure.
in your Friday update? Just
Yeah.
so,
Will do.
okay.
I sent him to Dave, I'll get him to everybody else, so I got his email, just pull it out there, and I've got that stuff. A lot of learning on that part, because.
Okay.
Is it something the board votes on to have any of that program at all? Or is it mandated by the state with our native population?
Yeah, our population is very high,
Yeah,
so we have a lot of monies, not just with that tied to it, but.
but it's required by the state.
Yeah. You fall in certain zones and certain populations, even if you have a very small one, you have to meet certain things. We have obviously a big population, we have to meet a lot more funds are tied to that, where if you're a small one, there's very little, but you still have to meet these, requirements.
Is there any measurement on progress?
Yeah, I think as you had that question before, I don't know enough on that yet, dude, that's something I have to search out, and then something I would get to, be sitting down with once I get a meeting set up, asking those questions to them, how can we?
In our history, is there measurable progress
I don't
in
know,
Native American
I'll have to
learning
ask that
and
one
things
yet.
like that?
That one I'll have to ask yet. I'm gonna have to rely a lot on where Bruce is at and with, tribals at, because I don't have enough of that information based on what I found in Brian's stuff, it was very general. Not like any meeting notes or any kind of stuff like that I have, so, that I don't know.
Or by grade point averages, or
Yeah,
how do we measure progress in?
I think progress at least at the high school level will probably be graduation rates. That's what we'll be looking at.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the indicators for all.
I'm thinking they probably don't or itemize down to the GPA stuff there. I would highly doubt it, because you don't see any of that happen to that
But I do
level.
believe the graduation rate the last few years has increased.
That'll be a breakdown that's on
I don't think I'm misspeaking.
We had that.
I think that graduation data has shown an increase in the rate.
So I'll look for the indicators, what's measured then.
Yes.
They always have, it's a state thing, they always have measurable indicators that you have to point out, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it was in our May. I'll look for it and I'll.
What are they? And then share the rest of it, send all the other board
Might have
members from bylaws.
Yeah.
That will
see
be
if it's
done.
in there. Okay.
But we're clear on not having to, prove the bylaws for getting the aid, just so you know.
Yeah, that's tied to the funding, correct? Having
These tribal consultations.
Yes, it's
Yes,
tied
that
to-
is.
it's
that
tied
is-
to the
that is-
funding.
That is tied.
so if we don't have these, then we wouldn't be eligible for the funding.
And then Bridget would be mad at me and I'd be in trouble. Yes, I will get that stuff to you guys, and we'll learn a lot more probably in the next couple months when I get a chance to really soak it in and meet, so. Thanks, Dave, for kind of raising the thing and try to learn. It's not as exciting as policy, but yeah.
And there are some like good resources within the tribe. We had met with, Chief Wind and, a few of his team, that have offered to be like used as resources whenever we have questions, so I feel like.
Do you have his contact
I do.
information? Can you send that to me?
Yep.
That'd be great, I'd appreciate that.
So to use them with any questions that we have to would help.
That'll be making that contact, that's.
Yeah.
my job to do there,
Yeah,
so.
they've been helpful the last.
Okay. Thank you for that, and I will get that stuff out to you. And then, Leo will print that out and along with those pamphlets. for you.
So maybe I'll pick it up with my update on Friday.
That sounds like a good, yeah,
That
we'll
work?
do it on Friday, like at noon, so I get all 3 parts to it. Okay, got it. Thank you.
I think we have reached the end of our agenda. So I'm looking for a motion to adjourn. Okay, there's a motion. Is there a second? Okay, there's a motion by Janelle and a second by Angela. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Meeting adjourned at 9:31.
Sticky.
It's okay.
Oh, there's no here.
There's not, they have it turned down. Is this locked in your office though?
No, it went out today. This afternoon, if this thing's fine this morning, and they stopped by and had a couple mechanical questions for him. He left by 2 o'clock, it was 81 degrees in our office, so it went out again.
Didn't they just put a new one in less than a year ago?
I don't think it was a new one, they've done some things, but it's not too old, and then they came out twice now. Of course, it goes out when the heat gets hot and stuff there. But whatever today, it wasn't hot, and it went out again, so, well, thank you, Joe, appreciate it.
Thank you, Toby.
Sure you can talk your son into saying he wants to be part of the council?
There you go.
He would never, he'd never go for board or anything, again, he's too scared of that.
I know.
Yeah, so, yeah.
I'd like to leave it as a policy thing.
Yeah.